Good evening, everyone, and welcome to whatever this is, this D&D game that we are doing tonight. We threw together a one shot when we realized that the cliffhanger of Beacon was so intense that all of us were too terrified to play it tonight. So much so that Caitlin specifically decided to get sick, like scheduled it and everything. And then Noir was like, I'm gonna have a delayed flight. And we were like, wow, that's quite the effect. And so we're gonna just hold off until everyone collects their feelings again and starts deciding to come back to my Alien game.
October was a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And we will be back with Beacon in about 2 weeks, because next week, the first announcement that I have is next week, Monday night on the 14th, Q Times will be dark because Jake finally decided to take a vacation like we've been begging him to do for ages, and he is finally taking care of himself and taking some time off. Jake, of course, is the gentleman who runs Q Times and is running it for us right now. So thank you, Jake. We are looking forward to you taking some time off. So we will not be back next Monday night. We will be back the Monday night after. So definitely catch us then for Beacon. Tonight, however, though, we are playing a one-shot, of Dungeons and Dragons here with the Streampunks, and this is going to be good. I'm excited to be playing with you again, Kira, because the last time I played with you was on Elisa's Marvel show, and I think that was the first time I played with you. Yeah,
that's
good to have you, and thank you for joining us. And of course, I also have Rick Blood, who is joining us tonight. And you asked me not to call you. I'm sorry, you asked me not to call you that anymore, Rick. I'm sorry. I'm still remembering the days when Rick was a pit fighter. He doesn't talk about it much, but
we'll make it harder for me now.
Yeah. So that's the only announcements we have right now. The only sort of sidebar announcement is you can look forward to coming up this month. We are going to have another game session of unfortunately, we missed being able to do it because of circumstances, but we're going to have another session of Jedi Shadows coming up this month. That's going to be on our Discord. Also, before I move on to any other announcements we have tonight, we've been getting some questions that I wanted to field real fast about what the hell Streampunks is doing right now on Twitter. The answer is nothing. Right now, we are staying on Twitter, and we are exploring options like everybody else, but everything is fine. And so we will be updating everybody where you can find us on social media, wherever you guys want to look. But the big news is that the website is going to be launching by the end of the year. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be the hub of info if you're not on our coffee page. That was the only announcement that I had, aside from the fact that my comic that I'm writing with Jody Hauser is coming out at the end of the month. It's called Dawn Attack, so check it out. Based off the works of Frank Frazetta. Okay, that's my announcements. Anybody have anything they'd like to share? Any games they're running? All that stuff. Nothing. I was about to say somebody. Come on, Elisa. Yes, fire.
I have an announcement. I literally just remembered as you were speaking that I am coming back to Metagame tomorrow.
Tomorrow, in fact.
It's tomorrow. I was like, is that next week or tomorrow? It's tomorrow. So if you are not already a coffee supporter at the $10 level or above, you may not know this, but Jedi Shadows and Metagame are two of the games we play on our Discord for our supporters. So you can join us there. I'm going to be playing a solo game called Quill. Some of you may have heard of it. It's a very popular game around the world, apparently. And it's a letter writing solo RPG game. I'm so excited to play it. I'm very curious about what it's going to be like to play it. So that's tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on our Discord.
All right. Thank you, Elisa. Does anybody else have anything they would like to share or announce? Yes, Sam.
You know what? October might have been a mistake, but November's going to be different. See, most of November, I don't even have to get scared. I'm sure nothing will be scary here. The calendar's working with me. It's working with me, people. I get to just be gay and do crimes, and that's what I'm here for, and I'm excited.
Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. But there is no intro. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. All right. I literally had to say that out loud because I was about to go into the standby waiting for Jake to say, and we're in the intro. But we don't have anything like that. So tonight, let's go ahead and kick things off by letting you all know a little bit about what the D&D session is going to be. Tonight, we are playing a game based in a city called Waterdeep, which you guys have heard about for ages now as being probably the largest city. Actually, it is the largest city as far as I know in all of Faerun. So Waterdeep is notorious for having some of the most expansive and successful thieves guild in all of Faerun. We'll be getting to that in a second, but before we do, I just want to go around real quick and tell everyone your character name and who you are playing, starting with Sam. What is your character and who's your character's name?
Oh, good, because I'm about to hop off screen. I'm Sam. I'm playing Juniper, Circle of the Stars Druid.
All right. Rick, who are you playing?
I am Bertrand King Bristle, and I am in Owlin Rogue.
Owlin Rogue. Okay. Eliza.
Hello, I'm playing Pruitt, a Circle of Spores druid.
All right. And then, of course, Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm playing Isla, the silky smooth Eladrin that could probably swindle your gold as well as your panties at the same time.
All right. So to start things off, here's the premise of the background of our session tonight. You, the four of you, are the last remaining members of your guild, a guild that had been around for quite a while. This guild, we will decide in a moment a few of the details. We'll decide together. But this guild has been on its way out for some time. It has been a slow disintegration of its membership and a slow disintegration of its influences on the streets of Waterdeep. The guild itself operated within the South Ward of Waterdeep, which is one of the more notorious areas. It's near the Dock Ward, so kind of near the trade areas and access to some of the underground elements of Waterdeep itself. There are a lot of thieves guilds that operate in Waterdeep. Obviously, there are some more successful than others. One that's particularly headed by a certain drow and another one that's headed by a certain beholder. These are the two main players. There's also a few of the Zents that make their home here, major players and factions that constantly vie for power every day in Waterdeep. But that's neither here nor there. The truth is these major power players here in Faerun really don't concern people like yourselves, unless they start getting involved in what you have to do in the day-to-day life. In most cases, the sheer size of Waterdeep means that this place can operate with all kinds of thieves guilds in here. And while it is true that it does literally become cutthroat when it comes to staking claims to territories or actions like that, more often than not, thieves guilds can comprise as many as 5 to 20 members and operate in a very subtle way that doesn't attract the attention of the larger fish that are swimming here in the pond. Meaning that more often than not, Waterdeep is simply lousy with thieves. People that are constantly trying to swindle or cut purses and get by. It is the largest city in Faerun. And while there are huge, big stories about these guilds that are vying for power in this great, magnificent city, our story focuses on the four of you. Talented, but now guildless, if you would. Members of that cutthroat demographic that is just trying to get by. In a world where people are constantly adventuring and seeking their glory and fortune, you have to live with the very real consequences of being poor and living on the South Ward of Waterdeep. The only thing that you can count on in Waterdeep, aside from other thieves and people like yourselves trying to muscle you out of the way for their cut of the pie, are the guards of Waterdeep, all of whom are quite competent and, for the most part, are quite fair. The truth is, the guards of Waterdeep, to their credit, are mostly made up of citizens who come from all over Waterdeep. And there is no select class, if you will, that are pulled from. In fact, anybody, so long as you adhere to the rules and regulations, can become a guards person of Waterdeep. But that hasn't stopped the cynicism and bitterness, because the South Ward is a dangerous part of the city. And the guards down here, for their own safety, will occasionally look the other way. This has a lot to do with the operation of the thieves' guilds that crowd the South Ward and the dock wards of Waterdeep, because this is where the trade comes in. This is where the illicit goods will sometimes sail in. And while Waterdeep is pretty good at capturing these illicit trades and goods, fact of the matter is Waterdeep's got over 1 million people living in it, and that's unheard of anywhere else in Faerun, at least at this particular point. We begin in the late evening. And all of you, because it is so classic and perfect for this one shot, we begin in a tavern with all of you sitting across each other at a table, having emptied your plates. And while many a story may have begun in a tavern such as this, with knives and forks clanking against crude pewter plates and occasional laughter, the distant sound of someone throwing up in an alleyway behind on the other side of a window, tavern keep calling out for last calls, someone lighting torches outside as they begin to smolder to a small cinder, just leaving wisps of smoke behind. This is an active part of the evening, around, we'll say, 10-ish or so at night. You've heard the bells chiming outside, letting you know that it's getting later. Not unusual for some of the taverns to close up a little on the early side here. As the later it goes, the more treacherous it gets for their patrons walking home. But you all have enjoyed what could be your last easy-to-get meal, because the coffers of what is left of your Thieves Guild are all that you have on you right now. The members of your guild have either died, have been arrested, or sought opportunity and were either press-ganged into joining another guild, or left voluntarily for greener pastures. Maybe one or two decided to actually brave trying to find a life outside of Waterdeep. Took what little money they had and headed out of town, looking for some kind of life, perhaps out in the countryside, or maybe if they're feeling particularly unattached to their mortality, the life of adventuring. And that is where we begin. I'm going to ask you all the first big question. What was the name of your guild?
Someone come up with a name real quick, or I used the one from Discord earlier.
Oh no,
Lunar
what was the
Isles?
one from Discord earlier?
Lunar
Foreshadowing.
Isles?
No,
Or the-
no.
The Lunar Isles?
The Lunar Isles.
I will follow your lead. You may choose to name it whichever you wish, and I will go with it.
What about the lunar? For some reason, my brain is like lunar craft, like mooncraft, something like that.
Waterdeep's pockets.
Oh, God. Are we gonna have a pun name?
Look, if you're gonna rob someone, you want to rob someone with deep pockets.
It's true.
I'm curious if we want, and this is just a pitch for anybody who is joining us this evening, just out of curiosity. Does chat have any suggestions? And do feel free to throw some suggestions if you'd like to pitch some names. Yeah, you guys can think about that, and I'll throw some names at you if chat comes up with anything. Rocky Bottoms.
Never a more profound rejection of an idea than, okay. So chat, do you have any ideas?
Y'all can pick whatever you want, and I'll follow along.
I actually like lunar pockets. 'Cause
Lunar
it
Yeah, I was
pockets.
thinking
melds.
lunar pockets too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a nice melding of everything.
That comes from Allura. Yeah, we could do lunar pockets. All right,
Yeah.
lunar pockets it is. Y'all are the last 4 members of the Lunar Pockets. The Lunar Pockets was a small guild that occasionally had alliances with some of the bigger ones, which is typical. Sometimes y'all will be. It's like sort of the food chain of the crime empires out here. Is that sometimes you'd be hired out by some of the bigger fish to bring in some money, the tax, as it were, to some of the bigger guilds and whatnot. But I mean, it's part of doing business if you don't want to be a part of the big stuff. Y'all are the last 4 members. We'll say this guild was around for about 40 years. So it was once one of the bigger guilds, and getting into it was a big deal. Y'all are the last 4. And tonight, the last 4 members of the Lunar Pockets now have to decide, will you continue? And if, what do you do next? Because as you're finishing your plates of food and your drink, it's settling in on each of you that, again, you don't have any jobs lined up. You do have some connections. You've got your know-how, your ways around Waterdeep, but what's the plan? And there's been a silence that's been fallen on the table for a while now, as everyone has been kind of lost in themselves, wondering what you may or may not suggest. It is worth noting real quick before I hand it off that Bertrand, you were one of like maybe 3 Owlkin that you've seen in all of Waterdeep in your time in Waterdeep. It's very rare to see Owlkin living here. So just to give everyone like a sense of where you may or may not draw attention. But yeah, and with that, I leave you to the clanking forts, the clanking of forks, and the drinking of goblets.
Real quick, looking around,
Mhm.
starting to like get the whip count of people at the table, of whether we're thinking of gigs or not. What's been the like taking temperature
Yeah.
of folks? What's the vibe if I'm looking around?
Well, you see Isla, he's grabbing probably one of the last chicken wings and is like not realizing when they're going to get their next cuisine. They're kind of giving half of it to their pet dog on the side, which is this it's a mixture of a husky and a Rottweiler. And they're slowly just stabbing into him, just like, here. You don't know, we're getting some more. Bon appetit.
The
Puppet
flapping
time goes
gums.
quickly.
Yep.
Flapping gums as the Rottweiler mix just snaps closed around the food and just gulps it down.
While we're sitting here finishing up our meal, I think I am probably scoping out the room for maybe drunk people with purses that don't seem, overly secure. Can I roll perception to see if I find out anything?
Sure. Make a perception check.
19.
19. There are plenty. Your amber. What color are your eyes, real quick?
Okay. So, I.
Give us a description.
I'm a small owlin, like small sized creature,
Owlin.
and I have kind of like brown and sort of beige feathers, and like kind of big golden eyes, big owl eyes, and my eyes are big in the metaphorical sense also, as I sort of am always looking for the next thing to steal, and sort of looking around this room, starting to make plans to pay for our next dinner.
Okay. I'm tacking this onto the perception check that you just rolled because I am using plot points in this game. I'm also using a new house rule that I'm developing right now that I have completely stolen from the Lord of the Rings RPG. It uses a fellowship mechanic, and this is how it works. You guys have a fellowship score. It is equal to the number of people in the party. Right now it's 4. What is fellowship? It's inspiration. You can spend a point of fellowship to gain advantage on rolls for saving throws, ability checks, attacks, the whole bit. Not damage, but everything else. You can spend that. You gain fellowship back when you do things for one another. When you risk your lives, when you guys escape together, when you have moments of bonding, if you are decompressing after a night and sharing a beer with one another, like you can gain, that's how you regain fellowship. Plot points, a little different. Plot points I'm using tonight to maximum goosery effect. I'm giving you all plot points. Normally, plot points are equal to like the number of people involved in the game, but tonight, for pure goosery, I am replacing our top tier donors on our coffee, which if we have 10, it means that you all have 10 plot points. What can they be used for? You can implement a plot point for a plot twist. You could implement a plot point for the plot thickens, or you could implement a plot point to be like, oh, wow, look, a potion of healing was in this chest. And you can use it to that effect. So keeping all of that in mind, y'all do have some advantages tonight. So Bertrand, glancing around this tavern, you see your usual fare of South Ward patrons. People from all stripes of the spectrum who are sailors or shop workers or any of the kind of the quote unquote blue collar of D&D, as you would of Faerun. But you see a lot of the people who do not make a lot of money who are working around here and doing what they do, which is once they get any kind of money in their pocket, they go straight to a tavern so that they can forget that they have to work tomorrow again. You also, though, with a 19, you spot a few people that look an awful lot like you scoping out the tavern. It's not difficult to pinpoint. You've been living in Waterdeep most of your life. You can smell your own, and you can occasionally see, thankfully with a 19, though, not making eye contact with, but every now and then you see the telltale signs of somebody just lowering a drink and glancing about in the same direction more than once, and doing it in a very subtle manner. Many of them look like they're having a conversation, but you can tell just from eyeing them without any insight checks, they're not actually talking. They're mostly talking at somebody and nodding. You can see them checking reflections in the windows. You can see them scoping the place out, same as you. Probably looking for quick callers. You are always surrounded by your kind here. Other people that just need to get by.
Who are we going to? Yeah, and I'm just kind of like looking around the room. It's like, who is going to make a donation to the Lunar Pockets tonight? Who?
Do you say that out loud?
I'm sort of mumbling. Yeah, just the three of you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
The owlin is saying "who" over and over.
Thank you, folks. I'll be here all week.
That's how we'll make money.
So I think Pruitt hearing that muttering probably isn't new muttering. It's probably something we're all used to, having been in this guild together. So Pruitt realizes you're looking for a mark. And she also starts looking around the tavern to try to see if she can help identify who might be a good mark. Can I do an insight to see who might be more distracted or easier to pull one over on?
Yes, go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay.
But also,
that is a 14.
14. Go ahead and describe your character, if you would, for me.
Yeah, so Pruitt is a Circle of Spores druid. I like to describe her as goth D&D Daria.
Okay.
So very dry, wry wit. She's very loving, but she doesn't show that very much. And she loves she's not a necromancer, but she's kind of on the side of she loves spores and stinky mushrooms and that kind of vibe. Like black and green are her favorite colors. She definitely wears black nail polish and lipstick, and she also has her hair almost like this. I have 2 buns, but she has 4 buns going across, and her hair is this beautiful lavender color. And she's a humanoid, brown-skinned Kalishtar.
Okay. Awesome.
Wearing this dark greens and blacks robe and kind of like a one piece roby kind of jumpsuit.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what she looks like.
All right. Pruitt, as you glance around the room, you and Bertrand both realize at the same moment that you, in the space between looking back and forth across the tavern and between each other, you both realize you're kind of eyeing the same individual for a moment. There's somebody here who's drinking alone, which is unusual. And it seems like they have a table to themselves, which would suggest to you, with an insight check of a 14, tells you that this person is either waiting for somebody or is somebody and just got their own table. No one's approaching them. But judging by the way they're dressed, you get the impression that this was a meeting that either has already happened or hasn't happened, or maybe they were stood up, but it looks like they're here for something. They do not look sociable. It's a gentleman who looks maybe in their early to mid 40s with peppered hair and decent enough clothes, a leather tunic, leather pants. Seems like it's pretty nondescript, but what's noticeable about it to you is that the clothes don't look heavily worn, and that stands out to you as something a little different than most people around here. Kind of suggests that it's possible these clothes are new, maybe purchased, possibly to give the impression that they belong here. It just feels a little out of place to you.
So I will look at Bertrand and say, I wonder who our friend over there may be.
They may be the next person to put some money in our pockets. But, and I lean into the table, I think we might have some competition here tonight. And I sort of point my beak at the couple of other thieves that I have spotted around the room.
Do we recognize this group by chance?
Of the thieves that you, when you all kind of glance around to see who it is that's being spoken about, you don't see. It's not unusual that you wouldn't notice familiar faces because of the incredible size of Waterdeep. It is literally the New York City of Faerun. But in this particular case, it's not that you would recognize them, but it just all feels very familiar. Like you've probably seen them before many a time. And it's not unusual either to be spotting other people working the crowd the way you are.
Well, it makes sense. How would you like to proceed?
Lead them on a wild goose chase. Be the marks we want them to steal from. They'll get nothing.
Like that idea.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Just curious, how do they look? Do they in a scale? If we were going to do a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of looks, where we rate them at?
10.
Of the-
Them.
Are you talking about of the thievish looking people that you're spotting checking
Yes.
the crowds? They
Mhm.
look like your standard fare, your standard cut purses. And I can go ahead and tell you all now, because of your experiences here on Waterdeep, that they definitely resemble to you the typical cut purse crowd that works the nights. You already know that when the sun begins to set in Waterdeep, one of the things that the Thieves Guild loves to do is dispatch their rats of new members out in every direction, who are expected to bring home some coin at the end of every evening. This is literally like the pickpocket crowd is what you're getting. So the rewards here, your instinct is you might fetch a few coins from these. You also, it is worth noting, if you're not played careful, you might pick a fight with the Thieves Guild, one of them. And that's the unfortunate side effect of there being only 4 of you.
Well, I could try to charm them up if we're, but consider that as a possibility. Or you were saying being a mark. What could we tease them with?
You are charming.
It's a work in progress. But I could talk to it for a bit if you think that's the best idea.
It would draw focus off of where they're looking. If you're a more tempting target.
Say no more. Anything else you would like to do before I get started?
Juniper crunches more food in their mouth. Chew, chew,
Okay.
chew, 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 gulp. Basically, much like the past 20 minutes.
Sure. We need a description of Juniper, and we need a
Yes.
description of Ayla.
Violet, yeah.
Ayla.
Juniper is perched on their chair. They perch on things. They spend a whole lot of time not being an elf. Right now they're being an elf, but soon they'll be a not elf, and that will probably be better. They look a little bit like maybe not all of the pigeon washed out. So their hair is dark gray with streaks of that lighter gray. And if they ever did put it up under that, you'd see that same purple into green that pigeons have along their throat.
Okay.
They have some feathers and such on their clothes. It's not like nice stuff. They got those off. That's a seagull. They are absolutely the rat with wings that people so often describe those lovely birds as. And if people just got to know the birds, well, they wouldn't be hungry, because Juniper certainly isn't ever. They snack so much, so much. And so they are. Chew, 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 swallow, and then look over to Isla and see.
So Isla looks to be around in their early 20s, which would definitely appear relatively extremely young for a Landrin. They would have long blue and green curls that comes from the top and wrap all the way down their lower back. That kind of gives the indication that they're in their spring form right now. They have still a little bit of freckles spread across their cheeks and these bright topaz eyes. They're taller, I would say about 5'11", with an athletic physique. And there's a major tattoo that goes in their back. Their one branch goes down their left arm, the other branch comes down their right. And each one of these branches gives a different representation of the season. So fall is on the one side, winter's on the other, and then the legs has the other two. Their clothes, however, not so special. Just regular loose cloth that you could tell was made more for a function than actual design. They let their words do most of their charming than the actual peacocking. So,
Okay.
Say when I see Isla getting ready to go create this distraction, Um, s- when they go that way, I will head that way. And I point to that strange person who looks like the easy target.
Okay.
I pull up the hood on my cloak of Elvenkind.
Nice. Okay. You
And,
now, it's right. The moment that cloth gets draped over the top of your owlin head, it has an immediate effect. It always does, Bertrand. And it's always satisfying to watch it happen. People stop looking at you as much. People just stop looking in your direction. You blend in just a little bit more as that elven magic starts to work its way around the cloak's fabrics.
All
All right.
I let you headed out.
Ready when you are. They kind of set up, give a few extra scritches to their dog, Ice here,
Could you
and
say
then make
name?
Ice here,
Got it.
and make their way over to the competition. They walk in, not a full blastic swag, but just a bit more confident, just to be able to be like, "Hey, let's have a chat."
Okay. All right.
Performance.
So, go. Yeah. I would say. So, what are you attempting as you're walking over to them? Are you attempting to draw their attention away from anything else?
Yes, primarily from what our friend Bertrand is doing. So they're going to charm them up a bit. Start off with small talk, get a bit deeper into the conversation, finds out the ins and outs. That's their goals anyway.
Okay.
And usually, once we get into deep topics, that could get pretty time consuming, and hopefully that gives them enough time.
All right. In which case, I would say in this particular moment, if you would like to make a performance check, this does kind of fall into the look at me category. So
Yes.
go ahead and go ahead. I would say go ahead and make your roll. Show me what you get.
All right. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that's nice. 19 plus 2, 21.
21. Okay. You start striding your way across the tavern. And as you are making your way across, anybody who watches as Isla does this, the one thing you notice about Isla that never fails is when they cross a room, there is a tempo to it, a beat. It's almost like Isla has timed this out perfectly because not a single waiter, server, nothing crosses their path. And yet the chaos continues. People are constantly delivering plates and coming up to the bar. People are constantly milling about. The chaos of the crowd is an ever constant motion. Isla doesn't have to push their way through any of them because Isla times it. Almost like with a precognition of just following the beats of the crowd, striding across the room with utter confidence and the ability to just hone in on a single person. This definitely draws the attention away from what's going on with the Owlin as you make your way over to the other side of the room, Bertrand, towards this person that's sitting by themselves at a table, holding a mug with two hands and looking at an empty chair across from them with a nervous gaze. Who would like to have their encounter first while this is taking place? And what are the other two rogues doing while this takes place?
I was going to ask for the rogues because we were about to have our encounters, so kind of curious what they were doing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think Pruitt probably would be holding court at our table and watching to see if there is any assistance she needs to jump in with either of these encounters. So she's just kind of still sitting, finishing a drink, and keeping her eye on both Isla and Bertrand.
Okay. So you're watching the back of your companions.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely something about this, Pruitt, that that does bring some level of comfort. While the rest of your world is falling apart right now with what's left of the lunar pockets, the one thing you can definitely say is that none of you have missed a step.
And
Keeping in mind that at level 5, y'all are considered highly competent at what you do.
I will say to Juniper, if Juniper is still here, you know, I hope this guild doesn't entirely die because, you know, even though it's just the 4 of us left, we make a great team. Like, look at them go. Look at those 2. I have complete confidence in them.
That's the thing about our line of work. We can do what we do freelance. It only dies if we say it's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep this thing going.
Good.
With
Ice your
that,
scritches.
scritching the dog.
Yep.
With that, Isla, you reach the table. There are 3 individuals sitting at this table, and they all look like they're from across the spectrum of folks that walk the streets here in Waterdeep. The lead person, a rather like meaty-handed, sort of like buff individual, sleeves with rather sleeveless, where you like straps of leather that are studded wrapped around their biceps. Looks like they have fingerless gloves on and a cloak that's long since lost most of its color, kind of faded into a sort of sickly pea green color. You can see they also have worn leathers all over them. The way they've shaved, the scars that they carry on their face, and the way that they are shifting their weight in their chair, indicating to you that they probably have hidden weapons on them somewhere. Everything about this guy screams a thief. When he sees you approaching, he manages to pause and he nods to the 2 people sitting across from him, rogues that look very much the same as he. Their conversation begins to die down a little bit. And as you reach the edge of the table, he just takes a swallow from the mug and sets it down and goes, "What's this going to be then?"
Wow, so forward. No, let's have a good time for a second. Can I have a seat?
Looks at the other 2, and the other 2 look back at him, and he looks at you and, "All right, yeah, have a seat."
So you see them there pretty much take the chair around, move it into, what was it, the Star Trek, the Riker position?
The Riker maneuver.
Yep.
Leg over the back of the chair. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
And then as they sit down, they'll bring out a deck of cards that says, "Listen, I know we can all use some extra funds on the side. How about we play a game? Just the 3 of us. Or 4 of us now, technically."
Again, looks at his 2 companions and then back to you and says, "We don't
No,
take
it's tipping.
kindly to being played, mate. What's your game? What do you want?"
Give me a game. Well, it's a game. It's a card deck. Of course we're playing the game. But if you don't want to play cards, we can always do something else. Well, listen, I'm just over here having a great time, as you can see, enjoying some food. I would just try to branch out a little bit, meet some people, talk to you for a bit, perhaps expand my horizons.
That seems to quirk an eyebrow, and he nods and says, "All right, I think I see now. Sure, deal some cards. We got stakes for this? Or are we just having a friendly card game?"
We can start with stakes. It's always fun when you have stakes in place. Do I have any coins left remaining, like from the Adventures pack, or would it I'm like completely broke?
No, we'll say you could have some. We'll say what's left that you get for the starting is pretty much y'all took what was left of the thieves' from the coffers of the Thieves Guild that y'all are what's left of, and divvied it up amongst each other. We'll say that's your starting coin.
All right. So they're going to start them off nice and slow because they're not trying to rob them of their money immediately. They need to know that Bertram needs extra time. So let's start with a few coins. So like a silver. Like start off nice and easy. And they'll, of course, start passing the cards around. Like, so, tell me a bit about yourself.
You see a smirk come to his face as he sets down a silver. His other friends start taking out a silver, and he shakes his head, and they stop, and one by one put their money away. He goes, "Got to keep this fair. 3 against 1's not fair."
Oh, okay. Morals. I like that. No, take a few decks.
Okay.
And they're looking over at Bertrand to see how Bertrand is doing.
Okay. Over where you are, Bertrand, you approach the table of this gentleman who looks like he's deeply uncomfortable right now, clutching his mug.
I can just approach. You want a stealth roll? How do you want to do this?
What are you trying to do?
Okay, so when Pruitt identified this person as the best target, did we specify whether or not does he have, like, is it like a purse? Is it like a bag? What was?
It was the fact that he was kind of out of place. He looks like he doesn't necessarily belong here. It looks like he might be waiting for somebody. You don't see a purse on his belt satchel. That could be because he might have it hidden. Smart people tuck that away into their tunic. They do not leave it hanging off the side of their belt down here in the South Ward.
Okay, so I would probably I'm like a little 2-foot little guy, wearing this robe of "you cannot see me."
Mm-hmm.
So I think I probably want to stealth my way under the table and see if I can sleight of hand through the pockets of his tunic to see if I can find anything worth taking.
Make a stealth check, and don't forget to include those fabulous bonuses from the Cloak of Elven Kind.
Okay. Will those be automatically in here, or?
Yeah, Cloak of Elven Kind should be listed on your character sheet.
Okay, inventory.
So real quick, in your inventory, you have the cloak. Big question.
Yeah, it's equipped.
But did you attune it?
Did I attune it?
So click on attunement.
Attunement.
It should be in the same. Yep.
Yeah.
And you should see 3 slots for magical items. And and you can click if it's not, I believe the Cloak of Elven Kind requires attunement.
Okay, it is now attuned.
So now go ahead and make that D20 roll, and that should add it all in.
And now I get advantage on the stealth.
Yes. So yeah, you'd want to right click on your stealth skill, and there you go. 21. That's pretty spectacular. All right. Yeah, that cloak, the way it works, the way you're able to move through a crowd, definitely one of the most valuable things a rogue could have is the ability to slip between unnoticed. Nobody spotting you. People just instinctively look right past you, as though they might, in the corner of their eye, just assume that you might be, I don't know, a Rottweiler mix just walking across the floor of a tavern looking for scraps on the floor. No one thinks that there's an owlin thief that is maneuvering underneath this table, of which you expertly slide just underneath this wooden planked table. Down here, you can see all manner of stains on the cobbled floor, and you can see that this table has been only cared for on the top. There are splinters and whatnot, and it has not been lacquered down here. It is a cheap table. You do see this gentleman is fidgeting under the table. Their fingers are tapping their kneecap over and 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 over. Their ankle bouncing up and down as they're tapping their leg over and over and over and over and over. Nobody seems to know that you are under here. Indeed, anybody who is watching Bertrand loses sight of Bertrand for the moment. As soon as a server walks past that table, you kind of have to, and then get sight of him again. You're pretty sure that has to be Bertrand. Something's moving under the table. It has to be Bertrand. You are now completely stealth. What would you like to do?
All right. I'm going to see what I can do to try and gently rifle through his pockets and see if I can find anything worth taking.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Light bird fingers.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check. Oh, my
21.
goodness. 21. Bertrand, it's just hard being this good sometimes. It's difficult for you. You're the one punch man of pickpockets. It's difficult when you just constantly succeed. It's difficult to find challenges as you slip right over. Cleverly, you spot it as you move towards his belt. The belt itself is where the monies and interesting items are being kept. These belts, are sold in the upper wards of Waterdeep and are advertised as foolproof from pickpockets. They built these belts rather thick, and what they do is they sew in individual pouches on the other side, pressed up against you as you tie the belt onto your waist, so that you do not have any obvious or easy to access areas. However, this man's fidgeting is easy to use as your backup. You wait, watching the leg, timing it out, counting the tempo.
And kind of probably glance around, make sure everybody's still distracted, and then make my move.
You catch your breath for a split second as he crosses his legs, as you may have pushed your luck a little too much. But then as you pull back, you realize you have something in your hand along with some of the coins. He crosses his legs and looks around after a moment and then situates himself. Clearly felt you digging through that pouch, but didn't realize it was somebody else. Thought maybe his clothes had bunched up or some such, as he adjusts the belt and just kind of folds his arms. You've got something in your hand, and you definitely have metal in your hand, which you suspect is probably coins.
So I think, when he probably makes that little jump, it's like my feathers probably like puff up a little bit, it's like a little nervousness. And then like as I realize I'm okay, they smooth out again,
Okay.
And then I want to stealth my way back to Juniper and Pruitt.
Okay. You stealth your way back. When you stealth your way back, you do catch a glimpse that something is going on across the tavern where Isla is currently having an engagement, which we rejoin Isla now as cards are being divvied up between you and this gentleman. And
Start with the pleasantries. What's your name?
Tonight, let's call me Gillian.
Gillian. Nice to meet you. You can call
Nice.
me Hitch.
Hello, Hitch. Who are you with?
A couple of people. And we saw you. And we think you may have some interesting prospects.
What kind of prospects are you looking for?
Perhaps allies along the way.
He nods.
Someone to join us in our endeavors.
Join you?
Or vice versa.
Are you new to Waterdeep?
Oh no. We've been around for a while. Let's just say we're among the best of the best.
There's some snickering from the other cross of the table, and Gillian says, "It's a bold claim."
I don't lie. But thank you.
Well, if you don't lie, it's going to be difficult finding opportunities with one another, as lying is required for what I do.
It's true. Very true. Like what you did there. But with that said, we can always play to each other's strengths a bit. I leave the lying to others. I take care of a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a persuasion check. At this point, I think we've crossed the threshold where, yeah.
No worries. Not as good. It was a flat 10, so that's a 12? Yeah, 12.
Are just out of curiosity, are you using the D&D Beyond dice roller?
Oh, no, sorry. No.
It's okay.
Dice.
I just wanted to make
Okay.
sure that I wasn't. Yeah. It's okay. Whatever you want to use. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing it on the game log. Okay, so, he doesn't seem repulsed though. You got a 12. He just nods and says, "Are you looking for maybe some organization to join? Do you have skills that might be able to contribute?"
Couple, as well as my friends, but we just try and eye out different prospects, and we notice you all here. So maybe, just maybe, you all may like to join us.
Join you.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
How about this? This card game, right? How much would you like to wager?
Well, right now we're just talking about a silver, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. We can increase it a bit more if you're interested.
You want to go off money now, don't you?
Perhaps.
Well, we'll say this. That you spotted us and came over with this proposition says you're either really good at what you do or you're someone who maybe needs a knifing.
That escalated quickly.
There's a lot of enemies, a lot of competition here on the street. Just need to make sure I know who you are. But you seem on the level, so why don't we start with the silver? You can tell me what you have in mind and we can go from there.
All right. It was, of course, how would you like to play the game by chance?
Make an insight check. I'm going to make competing insight check. Oh, yeah. What's up, Sam?
Oh, it just feels like a good time for an elf to brush past. I'd like to offer some guidance.
Okay.
To the endeavor.
Okay.
Because Juniper's been watching Isla.
Okay. So are you're basically looking at the hand, kind of deal?
I mean, I was looking at the whole Eladrin, but I get up when the guy leans forward, because we're from the table, I can't necessarily hear you might need a knife in, but there's a knife-related body language that's fairly universal to our profession. And at that point, I'm just going to get up, walk past, like you're walking to the bathroom, and just brush past.
Mm-hmm.
Isla for some quick guidance. Just to quick.
Okay. Sounds good. In which case, that's you're basically using your spell, right?
Yeah, my little cantrip.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. In which case, I would say make an insight check here.
And the guidance is with a D4, right?
Yes, may D4s be with you.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, that is much better. 13 plus 6.
13 plus 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me
plus 2, that's 21.
Goodness gracious. Let's see how I do here. This is an insight check. Okay. That's a tough roll to beat.
Sounds pretty good for a smooth talker.
Okay. So I did roll a nat 20.
Oh, nice. Wow.
All right.
Hey. It happens.
So yeah, first roll of the game, nat 20. Hey, at least the DM got it out of the way, right? So the two of you pull cards. You start flipping through them. A couple of bets are placed. Cards are put back. Shuffled. The deck gets shuffled. A few moments later, hands get revealed, and you find yourself 1 silver short. As the cards are being shuffled back into the deck, interestingly enough, this seems to have relaxed him a little bit. And as he continues shuffling the next deck of cards, he sets it down and he goes, all right then. So I've established that you're either willing to lose or I'm a better card player than you. Either way, I'm interested in hearing what your second wager is now.
Why not both? However, my second wager is this. If I win this hand, you join us.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I tell my current employers? I lost a hand of cards. Sorry. I don't owe you any loyalty anymore.
Loyalty. I think they can understand. What do you think? Think about it this way. You came across a group of individuals who are relatively good at their game. You tell them to this group, who your employers may be. They may came out looking out for all of us, and we all could get together, per se.
All right, I'll tell you what.
Mhm.
You win this hand. I'll give you one night. We can work together and see if maybe there's some opportunity to be found. And if that works out, I'll be amenable to, say, yeah, a cooperative business agreement, if you will. If I win, though, then maybe you consider following us to our place and seeing if you're willing to join us.
It's a fair deal to me. Oh, so bless you to your friend of yours. I'm not sure it felt like they had a cold or something.
Oh, yeah. No, this place is rife with people who like to write and who have allergies and blow their
Nice.
nose while other people are running games.
All right. That's a deal. You
All right.
ready?
Deal. He hands you back the card deck. While this is happening, Bertrand, you've made your way back to the table. Where is that? Where your destination was? Was it returning to home base, as it were? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I probably hop back up next to Pruitt.
Okay. You hop back up. Suddenly, the owlin is right next to you, Pruitt. Just little bitty owlin just pops into the chair next to you and pulls the hood down.
I'll never get used to you just popping back up.
Sorry, didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
It's quite all right. All my spores are intact. So were you successful?
We got something. So, yeah, I probably want to now take a look at what I got.
Okay. You put it on the table in front of you and begin to unfold it. It looks like a parchment. In the parchment, though, you do notice there's about 10 gold pieces. So it's a nice little haul. What's interesting about the gold pieces, though, is they're from varying countries. This is not water deep tender. You're looking at small gold pieces from across Faerun. You see a couple of stamps in there indicating this is somebody who's probably traveled. It doesn't look like any of these were minted here in Waterdeep. But you see, as you unfold it, two things happen. First, you see a ring. Looks like a small gold ring with a red gem on it. It looks ornate.
Well, that's pretty.
Looks expensive. And your instinct telling you immediately this is probably not something you just want to have laying out on the table here in the tavern, as the ring kind of it's an expensive piece of jewelry just kind of out in the open and among thieves. As soon as you unfold it, you realize this is kind of going to be getting looks if you're not careful. There's also something written on the parchment, from what you can tell. The letters are in fine calligraphy. It's just brief.
Regarding the go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you go.
Oh, regarding the ring on the table, Pruitt I would like to kind of discreetly pass my hand over it just to cover it from view of any prying eyes casually, and look at the parchment and say, what does that say?
The parchment itself?
I say that to what's your name, my darling? Bertrand.
Bertrand, can I read it?
Yeah, do we recognize the language?
Yeah. So when you glance down at the paper, it looks like it is finely written in calligraphy. And the message seems pretty short. It just says, "Tonight is our only chance."
Interesting. Ooh, I think we've uncovered some type of mystery or a plot. I like that.
I wonder if there's any money for us.
Flip over the parchment. Is there anything else written on it, or a signature, or anything?
Yes, there are lines, random lines that are just drawn out that look twisty and turny, and they come to a stop where it just has a dot. Immediately in your mind, conjuring the instinct that this is some kind of map.
Yes.
Mm,
Oh, this is going to be a fun night.
dot marks the spot.
Yeah.
About that moment, abruptly, the person sitting at the table, you can hear the as the chair just gets pushed back. The person stands up immediately and just and walks out quickly, heading straight for the door.
I'll go out the back.
You immediately standing up, you dart towards the back.
Yeah.
I nod at Juniper as they go.
Juniper, you immediately found yourself in a darkened alleyway. For most folks around here, the pungent smell of the docks would immediately be battering into your face. But instead, what you get is the dense, harsh taste of seawater and putrescence from a nearby sewer as soon as you enter into the alleyway. You move down some of the darkened areas where the only light source is being cast from distant torchlight, casting these glittering paths across the unknown puddles that collect between the cobblestones, moving past a few of the darkened shapes of people either engaging illicit deals of some kind or coughing in their last breaths, dying here in the depths of the South Ward. And as you move into the main street, you see this person walking past these glowing portions of torchlight down the main street, heading back north out of the South Ward. They look like they're walking sort of close to the center of the street, which is smart, being openly visible to everyone and staying quite visible to anybody who might be a guards person or anything like that. But they are just huddled around themselves, kind of holding themselves as they're walking quickly away.
I really would like to tail them.
That is a stealth check.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Make your stealth check.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna throw anything on it at this time, so... Oh, amazing, perfect, transcendent, delightful.
Oh, a beautiful, well-rolled natural 10. Or rather, I should say modified 10.
Dirty 10.
Dirty 10. So you immediately, Juniper, begin to walk after them. And as you do, as you're moving through the crowd, looks like they look left and right and start increasing their pace just as a large crowd of drunken reprobates move right past you. They just cut right between the two of you, laughing and like clapping each other on the shoulders and telling bawdy jokes, cutting you off from your quarry. You lose sight of them just for a moment. And when you finally just kind of move and try to get past them as they clear your path, you look up ahead to a few of the carriages and horses that are moving up and down the streets in this dark portion of the alleyways, and you see nothing. You lose them.
All right. Shall I take that as no chance of recovery?
Well, so I had that as a result of what you would think normally be a perception check. In this case, being as a stealth check, really what I was gauging is your ability to track this person and follow them stealthily through the streets. If you would like to try to reacquire the target, I'm going to ask for a perception check on that one.
That's very fair. I would like to.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
There. See, that was a natural 10.
You don't spot
16 total.
Yeah. Yeah, you looking around and they're gone.
Okay. Then I turn around and go back, I guess.
Turn around and start heading straight back to the Maiden and Purse, name of the tavern. When the door opens to the tavern, you can all tell from the expression on Juniper's face that it did not go well. as they start returning to the table. Meanwhile, over at the card game, make me an insight check. And if you would like, you can... I would say, actually, let's go the full round with this. First of all, I would say, make me a perception check. Or no, I'm sorry. This would be the insight check. Make it the insight check here.
Ooh, another 13. 13 plus 6. 19.
Okay. Now, if you would please make a deception check.
Okay. Ooh, not as good. That is a 7.
In which case, roll me a single d20. Or no, make it a d12 and tell me what you get. Show me what you get.
Well, all right.
Just a d12, yeah.
Okay, that is a 9.
Okay. All right. Bets are laid. Cards are divvied up. And as the betting begins and silvers are being placed on the table, you push the hand a little bit. So does he. Cards get pulled. And at the final bets, you see him looking at you for a moment, and he just closes the cards into a single stack, and he goes, fold. And places the cards at the table.
Thank you. That was fun.
It says,
Listen.
all right. Enough games. What do you want?
Oh,
What do you want to do here?
I was truthful. In about a day or two's time, I can meet you up here, and we could work together on a mission. Get some coin for both our groups. What do you say?
All right. What time?
I keep you up to date for that. I'll meet you here. Nice meeting you all. You chuck two figures over and walk over back to the group.
Okay. You see a few of the men lean into him and start saying something. He just waves them off. And you make your way back over to your table. At this point, you've all reconvened.
Well,
Perhaps we should take what we've got and fly the coop.
how did it go?
Bertrand did well.
All right. Well, fortunately, when we come across some tasks, I may have a few additional allies that could be able to join us for the endeavor.
Oh, really? Well, we actually did uncover a bit of a mystery.
Right now?
Uh-huh. And I will, I've had my hand covering the ring.
Okay.
So I'm just going to kind of like slide that across the table and kind of show it to Isla discreetly. And then also the parchment.
Yeah,
And
it looks like an ornate ring that has masterful inlaid sort of work. It looks like some mastercraft jewelry. Somebody crafted something that looks like it tells a story almost. It's hard to see though, because the whole thing is made out of gold. So just looking at it, it's kind of like, but there is a red gem situated at the very top of this golden ring.
Now, this is a thing of beauty.
it is, right? Well, between this and the map, I'm thinking there's maybe more treasure. But question for all of you. Does anyone get a sense of any type of magical vibes off of this ring? I can't tell. So above game, I'm asking, can
Check it.
anyone? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loaded it.
Magic.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I see it?
Switch it over to
yeah.
Juniper.
I pop it in my mouth.
Okay. Goes right in your mouth, Juniper. Immediately you begin to taste the metallic flavors.
I'll keep working on it.
Does it taste like magic?
How many
I'm
licks does it take
working
to get to
on
the
it.
center?
I'll tell you when I know,
Got it.
which is
Sure.
in 10 minutes.
Got
Because
it.
this is, I'm not expending a spell slot because I'm doing it as a ritual.
Oh my God, Sam.
So, a 1,
Okay.
a 2, a 3.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's true. I mean, honestly, it is true. We do have an owl in here. We could have done the Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pop joke.
1, 2,
Um,
3. I
yeah.
believe we
3.
did.
I'm
We
not
did do that.
wailing
Yeah.
it.
So you work this over, milling it about. You're casting the ritual of detect. Is it? Do you have identify or detect magic?
I have detect magic. I don't think I packed identify. I don't. Yeah, I didn't pack identify, but I have detect magic on me.
Okay. Without speaking this along a little bit, you guys managed to look over this parchment paper and get caught up in what each one of you was doing. Is my mic misbehaving? Right
It did the thing again. I
Yeah.
think it's auto adjusting.
That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me double check.
To vex you, you specifically, Eric Campbell.
I don't have any problems with it. Let me just double check the mic because I see
Maybe
so
this is
many.
what the ring does. Oh.
There's so many facial expressions coming from all of you who are just like, "Woo, what's he
I
saying?"
can find at least one problem that you're having with.
Yeah. Let's see. I can raise the input gain and see if that helps.
It's better
You're back
now.
now.
Get them games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, it looks. Did it just do it again?
It sounded almost like it was about to. Are you using Chrome by chance?
I am.
Chrome uses WebRTC that sometimes takes control of your own audio. That was the issue that I had that one time when we were recording Streampunk Q&A.
All right. Okay.
So it could be related to that and not to your hardware itself. Obviously, that isn't the most convenient thing to fix at this time, but it means that fiddling with things wouldn't immediately help if that were the case.
Sure. So give me a heads up when it inevitably happens again, and I will continue to adjust.
We'll just make faces at you.
So you all, what you notice is looking at this parchment, you all kind of bring each other up to speed to each other's encounters. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now that as you're working this over in your mouth, Juniper, you get the impression that this was at one point a very potent piece of magic. It is no longer magical.
Mm-hmm.
You can
like one of those things where they have the charges, and then sometimes
something like
the charges, and then you don't get them back. That always tastes like kind of a little sour, and the sour goes away.
You can just feel the sort of residual power around it. You don't get a sense of how powerful this was or wasn't, but you can just it is significant that you can still detect that at one point it was perhaps a magic ring of some kind.
From this ritual, I do often get the school.
Yep.
Do I get sort of the aftertaste, if you will?
No, unfortunately, being that it's not magical, there's actually not enough aura here to be able to identify what school it was. But you do get a sense that again, significant in that you were able to detect that it used to be magic.
Mm. It was a good year.
You can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, we take those.
A 16.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of get some of your spit out of the way and hold it up to the light to see if you can't see some of the grooves in the interior. Is that writing?
Groovy.
There is what looks like, as you angle it towards the light, it looks like there's script on it, maybe Draconic, which is not unusual. Draconic is almost always sort of the Latin of when it comes to spell casting. It's kind of like a lot of spellcasters, particularly because Draconic magic has such an influence in modern day Arcana. As you're looking at it, yes, the language of dragons is typically what people use from the older spells. And as you're looking at this, you're like, maybe actually, and with that roll, which was, I believe, a 16, is that correct? With that roll, you start getting the sense that if you dipped this in ink and maybe wrapped it across a paper, you might actually be able to perfectly see what's written out on the surface of this ring. Or if you could find some way of imprinting it on paper, or
We had chicken wings for dinner. Sauce.
you can do that. That's called spinning a plot point.
Those were narrated wings. I remember those wings distinctly.
Yeah, we could do that if we want to call that a plot point, and then thank Guru Matt for that plot point. In which case,
Sure.
you just, you've got 10, and we're about the halfway point, and no one has spent any. So thank you, Guru Matt. Yeah, you just see at that particular moment, Juniper just goes, reaches across the table, just dips this gold priceless ring into what's left of the sauce that was on your plate, Isla, and just rolls it around on the parchment that's right in front of you near the line. And you see, sure enough, as you do this slowly, you see what looks like a warped script start bending and warping around. It takes you a moment when you do it delicately. It takes you a couple of tries to do it delicately because there's so much nuance into it. But when it's finally done, you're able to read out on the script. You can't make out the full sentence, but your heart begins to pound with excitement, Juniper, as you see, you are pretty sure that at one point, this was a ring of 3 wishes. You see mention of the conjuration school and script that resembles a poem. You see the mention of the wish spell in the draconic script.
There's a
wishy.
look of suspense.
Now it's
Wishy?
washy.
The sauce wasn't that bad. What are you talking about?
The wish is washed up.
Wishes? Wishes.
Wish was.
Someone must have wished for treasure, the coins, the map.
Map.
It's a map to buried treasure.
Maybe I wonder if there's a way to restore wishes to a wish ring, but also we could sell that for a lot of money probably.
Or we could follow the map and go north and find what will make a washed wish wishy again.
Yeah.
I know kind of what way he went until I don't.
Okay, we'll start there. I look at the map and turn it. Do I recognize the layout of anything on this map?
Make an investigation check.
All right there.
Guidance.
Investigation. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I need
Use
it.
guidance.
This kind of slightly armchair quarterbacking. Just a
And
little
y'all-
bit. No. That's Sepulveda.
I just want to
13.
y'all I just want to remind you, it's a one shot and nobody has spent any fellowship points or plot points until just, so do
Driving like
remember
a small
to
What can I
yeah.
what can I oh, for advantage?
Yes, you could roll with advantage. So you would be
May
able to
I?
re-roll that if you'd like to.
I would like to.
That'll bring you all down to
yes.
3. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it.
All right,
Roll it
so
one more
I'm
time.
going to keep the guidance if that's okay. Can I keep
Yeah.
what I rolled on guidance?
Yeah,
Okay, because that
that's
was a
fine.
good roll. All right.
Yeah, no,
investigation
you're just
again.
re-roll. You're just adding an extra d20 to the roll.
Oh my god, it was worse.
That is a 6
I will
with
keep,
your modifier.
I will keep the 13 that I got
The
before.
good news is the good news for you is the 13 actually passes the check because you have spent your entire life here in Waterdeep. You know the streets of Waterdeep when you see it. What you see is what looks like your instinct is when you're looking at this line on the paper that leads to this random dot. You get the impression that this is probably something you could line up with a map. And as you're examining it for a second, you think, this actually, I bet this could be applied to a map of Waterdeep and will take you exactly where, if you lined this up, you might be able to, or get like a second opinion from one of your others, but you're pretty sure that you could line this up with a map of Waterdeep to have an idea of exactly where this line and dot is taking you.
Who has a map of Waterdeep? Anyone?
If y'all want to spend a plot point and have a map of Waterdeep, I'll let you roll with
Yes.
advantage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Aether Spoon, thank you for that. All right. So in which case, who has a map of Waterdeep? And Isla just right here in my hand just pulls out a map of Waterdeep.
There you go. Luckily, Aether didn't eat it, so we should be good.
Someone else will need to roll if you want to get the advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
Anyone
I
wants to take a
will.
look at it?
Yeah, I kind of lay them side by side and I say, okay. Anyone want to take a gander at this? Kind of line
Is it
them.
investigation?
Yeah, investigation check, but you get to roll with advantage because you got a map of Waterdeep next to you.
All right, so I'm going to give that a shot.
Okay. With advantage, you roll a 21. Yeah, you line it up and look at the map that Isla just supplied, and all four of you start to get a feeling of rising excitement as this map, sure enough, this doesn't line up with a lot of the streets until you lay it over the map. And banking off of what you just saw Juniper do, Bertrand, you reach over, just following your investigation instincts at a 21, you take some of the grease off of that plate and smear it just on top of the parchment and then lay it over the map so that you can clearly see through to where the street is. Sure enough, this line that traces along the parchment takes you right down the Way of the Dragon, which is a street, one of the main streets here in the south wards of Waterdeep. It banks off to the left and seems to pinpoint a single home that's not more than 4 blocks away from where you are right now.
Treasure, 4 blocks away, as the owl
All right.
flies.
Well,
Heist.
you just have to be cautious.
Heist.
The other individuals I talked to, they're still over at the corner. So
Heist.
I did say we could
Heist.
join together in a mission. Perhaps not this one though. Perhaps this would be just ours.
I think this one should be ours, definitely. And Pruitt's going to dramatically snap her fingers and cast Pass Without Trace immediately.
Okay.
Shall we, my friends?
Onward and heistward.
So real quick, does Pass Without Trace require any verbal components or anything like that?
Well, let's check.
Just
Spells.
curious, because I'm gonna roll real quick to
does.
see.
Fascinating.
That's what I thought.
Pass
Yeah.
Without
I would
Trace,
not
yes.
put a
Verbal,
verbal on a
somatic,
spell. Huh.
and material.
That's kind of odd. Why would
Nobody noticed you do that.
requires?
Okay.
Well,
Nobody
you can
noticed.
whisper it. You don't have to like shout it out loud, but you do have to kind of do a verbal incantation. I'm actually not pretty rigid about that. You can absolutely play a character who is mute and can cast verbal spells, no problem, if you come up with a way of expressing that magic in some form or another. So in this particular
Word.
moment, you just kind of mutter to yourself and snap your fingers. You
I
all
pull out like a twig and stuff.
anytime anybody sees any kind of spell casting of any kind, there is always some kind of feeling or an arcane imagery that comes up, an effect as the weave is tugged upon, and you can see it being worked into your will. In this case, though, what's really telling is that as she does this, nothing except for the world around you grows somewhat muted for a moment and then returns to normal. Y'all have known Pruitt long enough to know exactly what she just did. You now have, what is it, plus 10 bonus
Plus
to your
10?
stealth checks, so long as you stay within 30 feet. Well, no, y'all were all within 30 feet of each other, so yeah, y'all now have plus 10 to your stealth checks for the next hour.
We should
Thank you
go
for
right
this
now.
blessing.
I'm always happy to stealth with you all. Let's go right now. Make the most of it.
Okay.
For me. You ready, Ace? They'll scratch, of course, their dog as he makes the way up.
All right.
It's up. And one by
Out
one,
the door.
you all leave the Maiden and Purse, headed to this strange house located on this map just down the way of the dragon here in the South Ward of Waterdeep. It's approaching 11 p.m. now. The bells of midnight are in 1 hour. The guard are walking the streets, and you're not sure what you're walking into, but anything that is connected to this ring has to be a king's ransom worth of gold. It's possible you all might just finally be getting a good stroke of luck. That is where we are going to take our 10-minute break. So we'll be back in 10 minutes with See You Then. And then you just suplex the Tarask. Just hits the mat hard. And everyone, you can hear somebody in the background going, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" as this is happening.
But this
All
was
right,
the way it had to be.
Nothing to see here, folks. All right, just keep moving along.
All
My
right.
God, with the steel chair.
RKO! RKO! Just RKO'd the Tarask out of nowhere. All right. So welcome back, everybody. It would be, man, one night when I get to do a one shot, we're just going to go completely off the map with D&D and do something absolutely insane like that. So, all right. So
Challenge accepted.
challenge accepted. Let's go ahead and jump back into the game. Where we last left off, you had all just departed from the Maiden and Purse and are headed down the street into the direction, not in the direction of the gentleman who you were following, Juniper, but instead the direction of this house, which is not in the same direction. It's leading it's not necessarily... actually, now that I'm thinking about the map of Waterdeep in my head, it actually would probably be parallel down a street that would be next door, if you would. Like a street over. Like, moving down the way of the dragon, this is probably the safest way to travel when you're going through the streets here in the South Ward. The way of the dragon is just like the streets next to you, which is the high road. Those are the two main central streets of Waterdeep leading north and south through the city. They are large, to say the least. We're talking, it's probably about from one curb to cross the street to get to the other side of the curb, probably about maybe 60 to 65 feet to cross the street. It's wide enough to accommodate large crowds moving through here. Quite the large street, the main central vein, as it were, as you're moving through. When you get to the point on the map that turns off this street and goes down one of the unnamed side streets is when, of course, you're getting into the part of the city where anything could happen. Interestingly enough, though, at about this point, you've left the South Wards. You're now entering into what would be probably considered the southern portion of the Trade Ward, which is sort of the middle of the town. The Trade Ward is not very active at this time of night. Not too many people wander through here. Usually it's people that are journeying back to the northern wards of the city. This is a favorite spot for muggings, which is why you all see the Waterdeep Guard moving through the streets as y'all are making your way by. A few of the guards eye you as they walk past, but no one gives you any mind. One of them just nods to you and eye contact is made, but just keeps going. As a quick refresher, the guards of Waterdeep are not your standard fare of guards that you would find around most cities. The guards of Waterdeep are competent and dangerous to anybody who's breaking the law and resists. They are well trained, we'll just say. They're not your standard half a CR rating guard that you find in most towns. The guards Waterdeep are trouble. They have to be. They have to be a caliber a little bit higher for the city of this population. Thankfully, you don't have to deal with them right now as you move past them. As you weave into one of the alleyways, you start coming close to where you see this dot comes to an end. I'm going to have everyone, if you would please, make a perception check to see if you can't spot where this might be in relation to on the map and where you all are. Yes.
I have a background feature that it sounds like might not overtly come into play, but it's right next to it, and Lord knows we never get to use the
We
actual
never
background
get to
features.
use, and they're so cool. And I'm going to probably let you use this because background features in D&D are amazing, and we almost never see them get
Cool.
used. I would love to see
They're
what it is.
so
They are
cool.
really cool. Go ahead.
So mine is city secrets. You know the secret
Yes.
patterns and flow to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss when you're not in combat. You and companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow.
Okay.
I
Yes.
sort of know how to, if I can use it to like navigate appropriately.
Here's how I would translate that. Because of that background, because what is your background specifically? Is it urchin?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you you know how the buildings look in each section of the city, the aesthetic choices that were selected when the city was being built, and like you can tell where you are in the city just by looking at the color palettes that are being used for some of the sides of the buildings, what the trade ward looks like, what the dock ward looks like, what the south ward and the north ward looks like. You know what the city of the dead looks like. You have an idea of where you are when you're in the sea ward. The point is, you know this city. You know how to maneuver through it, and you know what stands out and what looks out of place. When torch lights can be seen, when lamp lights can be seen through windows. Like the rest of you, you've gotten really good at picking what doesn't necessarily look like it belongs. With that in mind, wandering through a few of these alleyways are not like the ones in the south wards you just left, where you could get stabbed at any particular moment, somebody looking for your coin purse. Here, they're a little more spacious, and there's a little bit more uneven territory. These look more like neighborhoods, places where not only shop owners probably make their homes near where they do their trade and business, but also places where maybe people from the south wards or the trade ward itself have managed to find themselves a bit of property to own and live. And in moving through here, you can see some of the places that are kept and some of the places that are unkept. But what really comes across and that grabs your attention immediately, Juniper, is that one of these houses, make an Arcana check, if you would, please.
Oh no.
Arcana check.
Because Juniper does have a 14.
Hey!
Check that out. You pause as you stop and see one of the houses, and it's almost like it glimpsed in the left corner of your eye. You kind of stop and you look back, because what you notice is all of the other houses, they have lamplight in the windows. This one's lights that are dim, just like any candle light, they're not flickering. And you think, oh, well, maybe it's just an oil lamp. But even an oil lamp would give some variation of the way the light shines onto the window. It would flicker in a subtle way, even if there was, and also, even in a house that's well sealed, which is unlikely in this place, it just strikes you as odd. You gaze at the window for a second. Everybody noticing Juniper comes to a stop and is staring at one house in particular. It looks like it's 2 stories. It's very thin. Like most of the houses in Waterdeep, they are stacked tall. They're not wide to compress the areas, but the house looks well enough. Green trim, has a rather adorable looking like winding ramp up to the front that kind of spins up to the side and has bushes that are growing up to the side. But every instinct in your body, Juniper, as you're eyeing this, you go, that kind of looks like a magic effect, maybe a minor cantrip of some kind.
Yeah.
And it
That
does
might-
match the dot on the map.
Who wants to stick their hand on the house that might not be real?
Come again? Well, I mean,
See, it's not flicker, 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 no flicker. Now I'm not a candleologist, but flicker.
Interesting.
right. So you would test to see if the house is real or not?
Well, I'm not, and Aesir's not.
So they will look toward Pruitt like, did you want to give it a shot, or I could try? Let's get off my
Maybe
back.
we should like throw a rock at it or something.
That's what I was thinking first. And then maybe something else. But let's just throw something at it first.
Those who rob high-class houses shouldn't throw stones. Everyone knows that. Also, it makes noise.
Right.
That's
Good
how I was a
point.
bit concerned about. See.
Fine.
Oh,
I
have an
won, though.
idea.
Oh.
I have an idea. If that is a real candle, I should be able to, well, let's see if it's in range. 30 feet. If I stand a little closer to the house, can I get within 30 feet of the candle?
Yeah,
Air quotes.
that should. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I will do that. I'll walk a little closer, look up at the house and the candle in the window,
Okay.
and I will try to cast Druidcraft. If
Right.
it's a real candle, I should be able to snuff it out.
So, okay, yes, totally. That's specifically referenced in prestidigitation, but as a druid, I think it is completely in line with the ability to manipulate elements. So yes, 100%.
It is listed
100%.
under Druidcraft too.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
a cool ability. Those, yeah, I love that stuff.
Little
Okay.
utility cantrips.
Yeah.
All right.
So, do I snuff?
You move over to the window and just go and make the hand gesture. You can feel the magic start to course through your fingertips. It's always a slight tingle when you use this cantrip. And as you will that candle, that flame to extinguish, nothing happens.
It's not a real candle, which maybe means there's more illusion here too, not just the candle.
Then we should be careful.
Yes.
Give me a second. I just want to kind of sense the thing real quick.
Okay.
And you see them kind of close their eyes and tap against their legs, almost making a rhythm. And as they do so, they're going to cast primeval awareness to see if they could be able to detect aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within a 1 mile location.
So you're okay. So this is you're using your ranger ability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so you are using this to, and this
Okay.
works within 1 mile.
Yes.
Okay. So what? I'm sorry. Remind me again what it allows you to detect.
Oh, sure. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Okay. So you focus for a moment. You lift your head up a little bit and you just breathe the air and center yourself. You try to connect to the, for lack of a better way of describing it, the vibrations, the weave, the way it works from divine to arcane. Creatures like this leave an imprint. And you have trained yourself to look for those subtleties, that vibration in the weave, to figure out if such a things are present. And it's always hit or miss when you do this in Waterdeep. Especially as rogues, y'all would know that as members of Thieves Guild, Waterdeep is notorious for having it is a city of secrets, as much as it is a city of splendors. And here, at any given moment, with a 1 mile radius, y'all are very aware that Waterdeep sits upon many entrances into the Underdark. Who knows how many miles down those are? Some of them you might be detecting in any given moment. That being said, all of those things to take into account. Within a mile, you definitely detect this presence of aberrations. And dragon.
Well, one makes perfect sense due to the language that you read in on that piece of paper. I definitely can feel dragons around, but also aberrations. So definitely we need to be on our guard. Just be on the safe side.
Okay. Do we want to start stealthing here?
Always be stealthy.
Okay.
That's best for me.
Are these narrow houses like Amsterdam? Narrow houses or like brownstones where they're physically attached? Or could you climb up one to second story work to another?
You could probably climb up one to second story work. Is your take on that? Yeah.
I also can do one more thing before we move towards this house.
Mhm.
I can try to find traps.
Okay.
So yeah, I will guess.
Where would you like to look? You just want to go up to the front door? Are you casting a spell just to detect the presence of traps?
Yeah. Well, before I get any closer, I want to stealth.
Okay.
So, but I have, I want to cast Find Traps, which is 120-foot range
Okay.
and within line of sight.
Okay.
So looking at the house.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So glancing at the house, you mutter a couple of incantations, once again summoning forth your magic. And as you close your eyes and extend your hands outward, you slowly open them up and feel to see if there was intentions. Way you can kind of detect traps, Pruitt, is that you can almost feel the residual energy of malice or protectiveness or a guarded. You can almost feel the vibrations of that through the weave as you kind of extend outwards, looking for a place where things might feel like they could be dangerous or deadly. Specifically eyeing the door. Curiously, no traps. You do not feel the presence of any traps. At least not on the house that's in front of you. The one that you're all focused on getting inside. There doesn't seem to be anything immediately triggering any kind of response from the magic you cast.
I'm not sensing any traps.
Can I real quick just do a little fly around this house just to see what I can see from the air?
Sure.
Right, I'm asking, can we climb up? We have a bird trend.
Yeah, see if there's anything actually on the roof or an entranceway or like windows that I can see through or enter through. So yeah, I head up. My flight speed is the same as my walking speed, I think. But
Sure. It's easy enough to make that move. So just extending out your wings, you pull your hood back and take to the air. Go ahead and make me a perception check. It does not take any effort to gain altitude and get over the rooftops. Make me a perception check if you would, please.
Ooh, natural one. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, we got inspiration, right? Do we have the
you do have the fellowship points. Typically, those are spent before you make the roll, but I have allowed you to use them up until this point. So if you want to make a reroll now, you can. That'll leave you with 2.
I mean, number one, do we want to use it this early since we're about to head into what could be death? But 2, I am also, if it's supposed to be before, we can live with the consequences of our actions. What does the team think?
I would not worry about the resources. Those are renewable and plentiful, respectively. I personally love to let a nat 1 ride, just for the sake of the nat
Sure.
1. It speaks to us.
I concur.
Okay.
Yeah, so I probably do a very bad job with my noticing stuff.
All right. So you circling around, by the time you land back down into the cobbled stones of Waterdeep, you don't have any information to report. You just see an endless sea of chimneys and housetops and small like trails of smoke that lead up into the sky from the cool autumn evenings. Nothing standing out.
Okay, there's no traps. I think we just go. Let's go. I'm gonna stealth to the door.
Which not difficult to do because again, thanks to Juniper being able to move you all through the streets quickly, and you all arriving here, you probably still have about a 45 minutes left on that pass without a trace. So you move right up to the door, not a sound. Plus, no steps, easy, no creaking, no nothing. You move right up to the door, and as you reach down and turn the handle, you explode. No, go ahead and
I checked for traps.
as you turn the handle, it goes locked.
Locked. Okay, and it is a handle. Like I can feel it.
It is a handle.
So
yes.
this is a
Yep.
real.
It's real.
Real enough.
Yep.
I get thieves' tools. Can I try to pick the lock?
Yeah,
Yes,
get
you
in there.
can. That is going to
Get
be
in
a
there.
dex check plus your proficiency score.
Dex check plus my proficiency score. So
Yeah.
it's not like, does that sleight of hand or okay?
Sleight of hand could work.
Um,
Yeah, because it's already factored in for you. So
yeah,
it's interesting because, of course, the lock picks. It's not in old school D&D. Lock picking was a skill. In new D&D, lock picking can be puzzle solving. It can be lock picks. It could be all manner of things. So because you have
Hiding something.
because you've got a thieves kit, this will let you like put the slivers of metal in there and to try to pick the lock. And because it's going to be a standard dexterity check, yes, you can use your sleight of hand to do this if you want, because that's basically the same stuff that's already been mathed out for you. The only thing I would say is, do you have expertise in sleight of hand? Because it wouldn't apply unless you have expertise in your lock picking in your thieves tools.
That's the thing. You can have
Don't-
expertise in either sleight of hand or thieves' tools, and you don't know till you meet the GM which one they're going to call for on a check.
Yep,
I did
I
thieves'
make it
tool
relevant.
proficiency once, and
I haven't-
every time it was a lockpick, they called sleight of hand. I wanted to
Yeah.
decease.
Hey, and if I ever do that, and you've done this in the past, Sam, if I ever do that, do message me. Sam has messaged me and been like, hey, listen, I made this character with this skill to be relevant. Can we make it relevant? And I'd be like, yep, sure. Thanks for calling
How
me
do
on
we
that. I'll
like
fix that.
thieves' tools?
Yeah. So
Always ask.
I got a proficiency in sleight of hand, but not expertise.
then great. Yeah, just go ahead and roll your sleight of hand check then.
Yeah.
And the thieves tools.
Yeah,
will
I
do the
remember
rest.
when lockpicking was a skill. My brain still lives in second
Yeah,
edition.
same here.
honestly, but,
I'm so
I'm-
sorry.
I had to remove the concept of spell failure. Like if you weren't screwed enough as a wizard having D4 hit points at first level, there was also spell failure chance.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Not bad.
so 24. So you see, as you're like, yeah, this is locked. And a few moments later, the small form of an owlin just moves up right past right past you on the ramp. And Pruitt, by the time you look down to see what Bertrand is doing, Bertrand just puts 2 slivers of metal into the door lock and goes click.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Nicely done.
who wants to go first?
Who
Go
wants
first.
to go first?
I'm
I'll
right
go
at the
first.
door. I'm right at the door, so I'll just step in.
Okay. You start to make your way, and you seeing somebody about to go in first, Pruitt, you immediately just twist the knob and just step in.
I mean,
Door.
sorry.
just
Now I'm
push.
imagining everyone trying to get in front of me and the doorknob. Like, what are y'all doing?
That thing with
You-
Clue with going in the door and getting stuck in the door. Yes.
I mean, you're a bunch of rogues, and there's a house with potential treasure.
Everyone's like,
in it. It
okay,
doesn't-
I'll go first.
Yeah,
I'll go-
everyone wants to go first. So you push in the door, just squeaks open, and
Okay.
immediately, without having to make a perception check, the light that's being cast in here is indeed looks like just puffballs of light that are hovering in the window. What you see looks like this house immediately conjures a sense of unease. It is, as I said, a very narrowed house. So it looks very Victorian in that regard. Like it's very, like the room might be about maybe 15 feet across, and it goes back from the front door. You get about 10 feet before it hits what looks like a staircase that looks like it leads a winding way up. The staircase itself looks like it has this interesting mechanism on the side of it that allows for accessibility. You also see there is a pole that is going from the second floor down to the first and has an opening near the railing, indicating that somebody could, if they wanted to, step right off the balcony and just slide down a pole to get to the first floor. The place is ransacked. You see books and chairs that have been overturned. You see this place looks like it has been completely torn up. The rug is bunched up in the middle of the floor. You see all manner of signs of just pure chaos in here. Make me perception checks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
24 from Pruitt.
Is someone still
Oof.
talking in the house?
Bertrand gets a
See.
14. Juniper gets a 19.
23.
23. Okay, all of you then, including Bertrand, all of you, you all definitely see what looks to you like signs of a battle or a fight of some kind. Which is curious because the door was very carefully just locked on the inside, but looks completely like a violent fight happened in here. For everyone who rolled higher than 15, which is going to be you, Juniper, you spot blood, spatterings of blood, like not gore all over the walls, but definitely like the type of blood that you might see on a wall if somebody got stabbed and they stumbled back and like they got run through and they stumbled back and hit the wall and their back that was bleeding pressed up against the wall. So it leaves that kind of stain on the wood that wet cloth would make. Of course, the wall itself looks like it's maybe in a light green color. So the red blood kind of contrasts very sharply against it. For everyone that rolled higher than a 20, you see there's more than just that wall stain of blood. You see a bloody handprint on the ground near this bunched up carpet and books just strewn about all over the place. The bookshelves in this room and the chairs are there's two chairs that are overturned and there are two bookshelves. One of them in a strange position that immediately conjures this feeling of like somebody maybe tried to open a secret door kind of situation, but there's looks like the wall behind it is solid, but the bookshelf leans just a little bit at an angle away from the wall. And then the other curious thing is the back of the house is missing. It just kind of descends down into the ground. You'd see just a blanket of darkness in the very back. It just looks like the inky darkness of night, and it does seem to be missing the floor. Like it descends and slopes down into almost your imagination conjuring the sense of maybe a cave or something. The way it looks like the wood gives way to cobblestones that were the house was built upon, or the foundation, and it's broken apart and descends downward.
Whoa. Whoa. Is that an opening to the Underdark?
I was thinking the same thing. Clearly wasn't a toga party here, that's for sure. I mean, this doesn't look fun by any means.
Yeah.
There's blood stains everywhere.
Wow.
Tonight is our only chance.
Huh? What do we
For
think
what?
that? Yeah, what do we think that meant? I'm drawing a blank.
Hour. So he wasn't the only one. And he might not have known how to find this because, we took the map.
But you
So I
said
guess all the friends are here.
that person you followed was going the opposite direction of this, right?
Have you never doubled back to lose a tail? Besides, we had the map. They wouldn't know which way to go. But the friends might have.
You think we
Underdark?
should be expecting company soon?
I think we are the company that they are going to encounter.
Oh, the Underdark awaits us.
Let's go.
All right, just a moment here as I'm looking at your character sheets.
All right.
You all move into the room. You do see this opening in front of you. It is quite alarming to see. I'm going to make a quick check here.
Alarm.
Okay. Nope.
Not the spell,
I'll be
the
right
vibe.
Okay.
behind you.
Yep. And yep. Okay. Remarkably. Bertrand.
Hmm.
You are not surprised, as your passive perception was met by the stealth check. So you do not suffer the surprise round that everyone else is about to get hammered with.
Oh crap.
As a lot of you all move into the room, if you are surprised, you cannot move or take an action on your first turn of combat, and you can't take a reaction until the turn ends. So, you all moving into the room. Give me the marching order here. Who's first, who's second, who's third?
Into the darkness, like towards the
Yeah.
Underdark cave.
Yeah.
Pruitt's probably going to be first or second.
Okay.
Yeah, I was assuming Pruitt was first because Pruitt opened the door, so I was like, I'll probably be second, I guess.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I would assume that, Bertrand would be third because, being 2 feet tall and having, almost no strength, he probably likes to have somebody in front and behind him.
Okay.
Fair.
And I was the only one who didn't try to shove my way up through the door, so it makes
Right.
sense that I'm in position. Taco's good out here.
Okay, so if you all would please, so we can keep this clean, roll me initiative.
Oof. Ouch.
Okay.
Oh, 16 for me.
16. Let me mark that on your character sheet. What is that doing here? Oh. 16. Okay. Starting it up. All right. So we're gonna actually
Roll
start
off
on them. No. So yeah, as you all move into the room, you see it just as it starts to happen. Bertrand, you glance to your right. That bookshelf that was moved slightly off the wall, it moves again.
Oh crap.
And the moment it starts to move, you kind of squint as you stare at it, and it looks back at you with a smile. He goes, you hear this, and then a second later, the bookshelf leaps forward, and the entire front end, the wood splits open, a pair of lips form as this huge tongue forks out, and it lunges straight towards Pruitt and just chomps. It just goes and bites down as it tries to attack. It is going to make an attack roll. What's your AC? Let's see. This is going to be Pruitt. Your AC is 14. You just got nommed. This thing leaps out, bites. Okay.
At least offer dinner first.
Pruitt, you're going to take 9 points of damage.
Okay.
As this thing chops down, and then an additional. Do you have any resistances to acid?
Oh, wait a minute.
I think you do, don't you?
I have a thing I can do, but probably not in this moment.
Otherwise, you're going to take 2 points of acid damage as this thing bites you.
Oh no, it's protection from poison damage.
Yeah.
So nope. Yep. I take those 2.
Yeah, the bookshelf comes to life and bites. It lunges. It's about 6 feet tall and about 5.5 feet wide. It leaps forward and it glops right down on top of Pruitt, biting hard. That's going to be 9 points of piercing and 2 additional points of acid. The next thing that happens is one of the chairs in the center of the room lunges towards Isla and chomps down on in the direction of Isla, and I'm gonna roll. Isla, your AC is it's gonna miss. Basically attempts to bite your leg, but at this point, Isla, you've glanced down as the chaos begins to erupt around you, and you manage to kick your foot away just in time. However, one of the other bookshelves, hearing everything happen, lunges forward from in the direction of where that blood spatter was against the wall and is going to attempt to chomp down on Bertrand. The entire room just comes to life.
Holy crap.
13. I don't think that hits you, does it, Bertrand? 14. It doesn't.
No.
It
just
doesn't.
Misses. Yeah.
It misses you as the mimic tries to chomp down on you and misses as well. And the last thing that happens is one of the other chairs that is overturned lunges at Juniper. Just leaps up from the ground. The chair opens its mouth and attempts to bite Juniper. And I roll a 9, also misses. The room explodes into violence as the furniture comes to life, hissing and growling as the mimics explode into a frenzy. This is going to skip Pruitt. We're going to skip Isla, and we are going to get to you, Bertrand. You get to act because you were not surprised.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
During the surprise round, can we use reactions?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't get reactions, unfortunately. Right. You do at the end of the turn, you can use a reaction. According to the surprise rules, it says, I wanted to double check that, but it says if you're surprised, you can't move or take an action on your first turn of combat, and you can't take a reaction until that turn ends. Oh, okay.
Wait, on our first turn of combat, we can't do anything?
This is the first turn. So you can't take an action and you cannot move.
During this surprise round, you mean?
This surprise round.
Got it. Okay.
But when the next round starts up, you guys will all be able to act as normal.
Okay.
So, yeah. What are you going to do, Bertrand?
So right now, one of those bookcases is chomping down on Pruitt.
Yes, it's latched on to Pruitt. It is the most surreal sight you've ever seen. It is literally a bookshelf that is biting your druid up in the front of the party.
All right, this goes against everything I believe in, but I am going to shoot the
Amy
bookcase.
Dallin's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Murder the books.
The books decide to fight back.
Actually,
the books.
It's just in case.
It is worth noting that the books that are on the shelf are clearly part of the body and not actual books. They are part of the mouth that has split open and are biting. It is all a ruse. So, but it is horrifying to witness.
Yeah, I'm not much in combat, but I'm going to shoot it with my short bow.
Ah! You pull an arrow, knock it, draw it back, make the shot. 22
to hit.
is absolutely going to hit the one on Pruitt.
Not much.
Yeah, 22. Roll damage if you would, please. 5 points of damage. An arrow is sticking out. Wait, do you have sneak attack?
Oh yes, I do. Oh my
you
god!
Get to use sneak attack. It is being flanked right now. It technically is within 5 feet of an ally. So roll your sneak attack damage.
Oh my god! So okay, my sneak attack.
So you'll scroll down. It should have its own thing.
Yes.
Did you roll? How many dice did you roll? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It says 3d6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6
Beautiful.
points. Okay, so 6 more points of damage. All right. Arrow slams into the bookshelf. You think you heard it. You see a little bit of black ichor spout out from the arrow shaft as it slams into the bookshelf, but nothing else happens. The noises these things are making are ridiculous. It just sounds like as they're chomping and biting. That's going to take us to the top of the round, in which Juniper, you get to go first.
As
the horror recedes for a second, you all realize the room is trying to eat you.
I don't want the room to be eating me. I don't want Juniper tries to say, something in Elvish. It doesn't really take because they're clearly stumbling over their words. They try to say something in Elvish again. It sounds kind of like if you grew up with your family's language as a kid, and then you went and you moved and you lived in Waterdeep for a long time, and so you were really, really bad in the language that you grew up in. And
this is why I attest that there's no such thing as a bad accent in D&D. You don't know if that dwarf has spent most of their time in Icewind Dale and then moved down to Waterdeep. They probably have British, Scottish, South African, you name it. Like, yeah, go ahead.
You don't know.
You don't
know. And close enough for Jazz. They finally say the Elvish well enough.
Okay.
That little bits and points on their skin start lighting up, piercing through some of the sleeve and singeing a little bit seagull feather, and a starry form coalesces on them and perfectly imitating Bertrand.
Okay.
Shoots an arrow.
Is this a spell?
No, this is starry form.
Okay. So I'm gonna thank you. That description reminded me of another house rule that I implement in D&D called stunting. If you go into description like that and describe what you're doing, I give you a +1 to the attacks. If you're casting a spell and go into description like that, I give you a whopping +1 DC to resisting your spell. So it's a big bonus. So if you're willing to stunt your stuff, I will throw bonuses at you. So go ahead and get a +1 to the attack roll on that for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're attacking the one that's on Bertrand. That's Mimic C.
All right. What? That would be then a 20.
That is a nat. Is that a nat 20? No, it's a 19 plus 6, so 25.
Yeah, a 19 plus 1. So not a dirty, but not a clean. It's a 26. Yeah.
Okay.
It does the yob.
Nicely done.
And for a 5, and that's my bonus action.
8 points of damage. So no joke. Okay, so 8 points. Bertrand, you gave Juniper's mimic an arrow. Juniper decided to give your mimic an arrow. You two exchange as arrows zip across the room, slamming into, one slams into a chair, the other one slams into the bookshelf, and there is hissing. We are up to the next round of combat.
May I use my action?
Oh, was that not your action?
No, that's my bonus action.
Oh.
Because Wild Shape is an action, and for Starry Form on your action, and when you take the form and in subsequence.
You can attack immediately, assuming the wild. That's cool. All right, yes.
I know it's a really good circle.
Yes, you may.
So I would like to get into at least reach with someone, long reach, with just a bit of a baton and shillelagh upon them.
There is a mimic that is trying to bite your legs off.
I would like them not to bite my legs off.
Okay, so that would probably be the one you'd want to start to shillelaghing.
Yeah, I would like it to shillelagh.
Okay, so that would be Mimic D.
All right, Mimic D.
That hits.
For 14 to hit.
Yeah, you smack it. How much damage is that? 10 points. Yes, indeed. You shillelagh. My people came up with some of the most fun words.
Even funner spellings.
Bam! You slam that staff right down on top of this mimic, and it kind of makes this wheezing sound, almost as if this thing had the ability to have air knocked out of it. You can't imagine that it must have been something along those lines of hitting this thing so hard that it actually caused some of the burst of air to come out of its mouth. But you smash it good. You feel the impact of this satisfying thwapping noise as you bring the staff down. And that's the end of your action. Next up is the one that's on Bertrand, which is going to continue to chew on Bertrand. This is Pruitt. This is the one that's attacking Pruitt.
Yeah, I was like, were there a lot of 17s rolled?
I need to, they're all, the mimics are all going on 17.
Oh, crap. Yes, they are.
Unfortunately, they are. So
I'm being chomped.
You're being chomped, and he's rolling with advantage because he's got you grappled.
Okay. Oh, I'm grappled.
Yep.
Are they also restraining? That's the one that grants advantage.
The mimic has advantage on attack rolls against any creature.
Crap. That's wild. Amazing. Thank
Yeah,
you.
mimics are not. If they bite you,
They special.
they are adhesive.
Really special kitties.
They just chomp onto you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Well,
see. Adhesive the mimic adheres to anything it touch. Yeah, false. Yep. Okay, cool. So so that's a hit. Is that a nat 20? Oh god, did I roll a nat 20 on you?
wait,
did.
what? Is it me or no?
Oh,
It is you.
Stop! That's the second one tonight, Eric Campbell.
That's on Pruitt, yeah, because I rolled with advantage. As it's
Stop.
so I rolled a nat 20. This is gonna be crit damage.
What are you rolling? Wait, I thought it was my action. I mean, I thought it was my turn.
No, this is the mimic attacking you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It goes Juniper, mimic, then Pruitt, Isla, and Bertrand, and then the round starts over.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be.
Oh. But I can use a reaction now, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
That's going to be 27 points of damage.
Well, that's exactly how much I have.
Eric Campbell.
That's 15 piercing and 11 acid.
Okay. She's down to 0.
Okay. The mimic crits you.
So I don't get to react now.
I'll give you your reaction if you want to do a reaction.
I mean, what I was going to do was Halo of Spores.
Okay.
Since it's within 10 feet of me, I'm just lashing out with my spores and giving it necrotic damage.
Okay.
So I will roll that. Oh, actually, sorry. It has to save on a Constitution save. DC.
Make a con save?
Yeah, DC 15, I think.
Okay. Making a con save.
mimics.
It rolls a 5. It will fail.
Okay, so I'll roll that D4 of necrotic.
It's going to take. What's this cloud?
Takes 2
2
necrotic
points of
damage.
necrotic damage. Everything helps.
Yeah. Basically, all the spore juice in her is just lashing out at this thing as it chomps down before she passes out.
You watch as Pruitt drops to the ground and the bookshelf just falls on top of her, and it's moving in such a way that is horrifying to watch. You can only imagine that it's trying to devour her, much like whoever this poor person was before you all. That's going to be that mimic's round. The next one up is going to be on Isla. You see Pruitt go down. This thing is going to try to chomp on you, Isla. It did not successfully bite you, so you are not grappled. It is going to make an attack roll. 12 is going to miss you. It tries to chomp you. It can't. The next one, this is Mimic C. This is the one that's on Bertrand. I cannot hit you guys. This mimic also is just chomping it. Y'all are just kind of dancing away, popping around, getting away from this. It's kind of like that kind of like jumping away as this chair tries to chomp into you, Bertrand. And that takes us to the one that had an arrow, that still has an arrow sticking out of it and just got whapped in the face by a shillelagh. It is going to attempt to bite. And I rolled a nat 20.
Eric.
Talk to D&D Beyond. I don't know what to tell you.
This is why digital dice are cursed. You know that.
I'm rolling the Vecna dice is the problem. So crit damage. So you're going to take a total of 14 piercing and 6 acid damage.
Okay, so 20 total. Ow.
This is bad. Pruitt's down on the ground. We're going to go to Isla next.
All right. Well, Isla sees themselves attempting to get chomped on and move their legs away. I'm presuming, am I able to see Pruitt fall? Or...
Yeah. Yes. Pruitt was right in front of you.
Okay. In that case, they're immediately going to essentially try to baseball slide and kick this creature-wise down and pretty much attack it.
Okay.
So that'd be my action. So 1 second.
If you're going to attack this thing, I'm going to let you have advantage on the roll. It's on top of Pruitt right now and is completely focused on her. So if you're going to attack it, I'll let you have advantage on the roll.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mhm.
Oh, thank God for that advantage because that first roll was a natural one.
Oh, goodness.
So the second one is a 15. So that'd be 23. Yeah, 23.
Ooh, that definitely hits.
Okay. All right. And so I'm going to insert my favorite foe into that to add an extra D4 of damage.
Nice. Okay.
Seven. 12 points of damage from that attack.
12
and then
points. Okay.
And then for my bonus action, I'm going to have Icier charge forward and attempt to chomp.
Dog just comes charging up there, furious as you point in order. Okay.
All right, and they are going to attack. Let's see, here we go.
Now who's grappled, motherfucker? This dog just lunges forward and chomps down on the bookcase.
Oh, this one doesn't get advantage, right?
No, it does because I'm treating the mimic as though it's prone right now.
Because that one was a natural too, so I appreciate that.
Okay,
much
prone to
better. Much better. The second roll was a 19, so that would definitely hit.
Definitely hits.
They will also, well, they're technically prone, so I don't have to worry about them making a strip saving throw. So I'll just go ahead and their attack.
How much is that going to be for damage?
Not looked at that thing. Perfect. 8 plus 3 plus 11 plus 2. 13 points of damage from icing.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, the mimic reacts as this large dog just chomps down and starts trying to drag the mimic off of the top of Pruitt, just like shaking its head viciously left to right. You can see black ichor sputter outwards as the mimic starts getting pulled off of the body, and you see the mimic itself kind of bends backward like it's trying to work its way up. But the physics of this creature do not make sense. As it folds itself backwards, it actually gets up off easily, getting up off of the prone position and bends backward to try next turn to face its attackers, but it's going to leave Pruitt alone now. That's going to be your action. Next up is Bertrand.
Well, okay. I guess I'm going to shoot at the one that is on top of Pruitt.
Okay. That was the one. Yeah, they just got dragged off. Go ahead. Make your shot. You're going to get the sneak attack damage on it.
Dude, I seriously would have rather like a dragon been in here than freaking 4 mimics.
Hey!
I'd like to.
Mimics.
You still, as a quick reminder, you still have 2 fellowship points and you have a 9 plot points. So keep that in mind. Or is it 8 plot points? That's correct.
1 Guru Mount, 1 Aether Spoon.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So go ahead and make your attack. 25. My goodness, that's going to hit.
Okay.
Don't mess with the bird.
So short bow damage.
Murder most owl.
4.
And then roll your sneak attack damage.
Sneak attack again? Yeah.
3d6. So for a total of 14 points of damage. Yeah, that mimic is bursting with blood at this point. It is getting mangled and shot up. You can see it's kind of twitching in a way that would seem to indicate that it is in distress.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that it for your round?
I'm trying to think if I want to use one of my reactions here. Nah, okay. I'm good.
Okay. So that mimic is properly wounded. We come to the end of the first round, which would call normally for Pruitt to make the death save. You already did, and it says that you succeeded. So we are going to go back to the top of the round. Juniper.
Okay. Okay, Pruitt's down. Okay, you please don't bite me again. Oh God, I'm going to run over to Pruitt. I think that gives the mimic an attack of opportunity that I'm not going to treasure, but this is what is required.
Okay, So then that one is going to use its reaction to try to chomp. Mimic D is going to make ye old attack.
Rick.
Keep in mind, I just want to warn you, if this thing successfully attacks you, it grapples you. And when that happens, you have to make a DC 13 check to escape the grapple, or your speed drops to 0. You move nowhere. So just keep that in mind.
I mean, cool, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, okay. I roll a 9. You lunge forward, running right past a couple of the other mimics that are trying to eat your party. What are you going to do? You get right up to, you can see Pruitt's on the ground and her eyes are open, but she's like gasping for breath. The bite marks on her are vicious.
Okay. I know what I need in this kind of situation, and hopefully that helps you. What I need is snacks, and I'm going to go into my bag. I'm going to pull out some snacks. No, those are the wrong snacks. I'm going to go into my bag. I'm going to pull out. No, those are also not the right snacks because apparently I'm just rule of 3ing today. You know what? When you don't have the right snacks, you make the right snacks like House Goodberry.
Okay, Goodberry. One of the most useful spells in the arsenal of any druid or ranger.
They are a great emergency.
Super useful.
Yeah, rangers get them too.
Do you get them too?
Useful because, among other things, they will restore an hit point.
Which will pull you right out of having to make any death saves and put you back to conscious. So you pop a Goodberry, gain that hit point back. You are now at 1 hit point. You are no longer dying.
Thank
you.
Give
yourself that 1 hit point. The moment the Goodberry goes into your mouth, you feel vitality flood into your system instantly as the magic begins to do its work. You can feel, unfortunately, what it does do is it bring you back to fully conscious. You begin to become very aware of how much pain you're in. The bites in your body are laced with acid and they burn. It wakes you up fast, but you can hear the telltale, the sounds of a very, very angry doggo tearing at a dying mimic a few feet away. That's going to be your action, Juniper. Mimic, yeah, you have your reaction. Do you have another action?
Yeah, my bonus action, my starry form gets to keep shooting.
Oh, that's right. You get to keep shooting.
So as I lean over Pruitt and check and make sure that Pruitt's okay and that the snacks work. Snacks always work. See, snacks are magic. On my back, the archer will shoot.
Bow loose. Go ahead and take your shot. You're shooting at which one?
Let's shoot at the one that is almost, but not quite yet, dead.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
The roll and the way we're rolling tonight. Eric, I would like... Is it because we're carrying the wish thing and so, like, our luck goes into that?
That's a 7. That's not going to hit it. Would you like to do something about that? Or...
you know, it's not a fun story, Nat 1. It's just a delay. It just makes
one
things
when it only
slower.
affects you. It's not fun when you're trying to save the life of a party member. Nat 1s are not fun then.
Right, exactly. Right. And moreover, it just delays for you to not make the attack. So I
roll another d20, and I am on your side on this. I'm praying for you.
12.
Guess what? 12 hits.
Hercules.
You roll a 12. That is just what you need to hit these things. All right, roll your damage.
All right, that's 6 glowy, shiny, sparkly damage.
6 points is exactly what you needed to kill it. The arrow slams in, and you hear this, and the bookshelf just goes, kind of flops for a second, and then it just goes and kind of spreads out on the floor like somebody has just killed something that deflates right in front of you, and this black ichor spreads across the floor. That mimic is quite dead.
That's it says ew.
Oh yeah, that's getting all over your leggings right now as it just starts to leak out quickly like oil just spreading out on the floor. That's the end of your round. A very good round for you. The other mimic, which is currently on Isla, is going to also continue attempting to eat and nom and chomp and eat and nom and chomp. And I roll.
Okay, the mimic 12. Is relatable.
I don't think that's going to hit you. Nope, you have an AC of 19. These things are probably not going to hit you.
Yes.
That one is chomping away. It is having no success. Bertrand, let's see. You are a little squishier. It might have better luck. Let's find out. Oops, that's okay. It still counts. Oh, what's your AC, Bertrand? 14. 14 is going to hit you. 16 is going to hit.
Crap.
I rolled 9 points of damage plus. Oh. So I rolled 9 points of piercing plus 7 points of acid.
Can I use my uncanny dodge?
Yes, that will have the damage. And I will let that have the damage from both attacks. So we'll round it down to be nice. So we'll say 4 points from the piercing and 3 points from the acid. However, it did successfully attack you, which means the thing is latched onto you. It was going to bite your head. You jump out of the way and it chomps down on your arm instead. As the uncanny dodge kicks into effect, you just leap back as this thing latches on. There is a chair biting you right now, Bertrand. In all your years, you never saw this coming, and it hurts. You can feel the stinging, burning sensation of the acid as it's going. That's your action. And the one that is really frustrated that it did not stop Juniper from getting away is going to leap towards Juniper. However, in order to do that, it is going to pass by both Bertrand and Isla. So I will allow both of you to get an attack of opportunity on this thing as it passes right past both of you.
Who goes first?
Oh, and this is by the way kind of more of a 3.5 rule, but because it wasn't engaged with you, but it is moving through your threat zone. So I believe this is how it's going to function. But I'll let you both have an attack of opportunity because mimics are hungry; they ain't smart.
I think the uncanny dodge ate the reaction for Bertrand.
Oh, that's right. Bertrand doesn't get one because you use the uncanny dodge.
Yeah.
So
No,
this is going to
right.
yeah. That's right. Thank you. So then this is going to be you, Isla.
Sally, I rolled a 3. However, would Iceer get one as a beast? Possibly? Do they get?
No, because Iceer would be in my mind. Iceer was on the other side of the mimic. That was attacking, gotcha. So technically be 10 feet away as opposed to 5 feet. Wouldn't be within reach.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So those Sally whips try to hit them in the
and it leaps.
Who hits the chair? How do you hit a chair?
Oh boy! Here it comes. It leaps.
People
over.
weirdly find a way. You would really think that I just do be coming through, and yet people find a way to hit a chair. Did you roll another 20, Eric?
Yes.
Eric.
Why? Why are you doing that?
Your brow switch.
What are you doing?
I'm not even kidding.
We've rolled so many ones. You've rolled so many 20s.
I'm not even kidding. That is my third nat 20.
What?
I'm not even. And the game log is saved, so I can actually show you guys the rolls.
Oh, I believe it. It's just one. I'm going to have words with the Wizards of the Coast employee very, very soon. And 2.
Oh my stars.
Refresh and switch browsers.
Oh my.
So what you're telling me is D&D Beyond has a DM bias. I got you.
Yep.
So that's gonna be 20 points of damage.
All right, Juniper's down.
Juniper drops.
Oh,
Juniper's at 13.
I have the good berries on me.
You're down. You're out.
Yeah.
I have 13 hit points right now.
Juniper had 13
hit
hit points.
You're right by me though.
12 points of piercing, 8 points of acid. You all see this mimic just hopping and then leaps over and just chomps down. Just as Juniper is getting back up, you see this chair leap at Juniper's back and just chomp down, and with a squeak, Juniper just goes down on the ground and this thing just gets on top of them. That is going to be their action. It is now Pruitt's action.
Great. Okay.
You do not have a mimic on you currently. You are at
I
one
thought
hit
I
point,
knew
though.
exactly what I was gonna do, but now no, I don't. Because there's Juniper who's down now. I was gonna heal myself.
I cannot emphasize this enough. You have 8 plot points.
But what can I do with a plot point right now?
So I would just say for plot points, the beauty thing about plot points is the sky is the limit with what you can do with them.
I know what I'll do. Okay. I mean, this is also kind of if Juniper consents to this, if Sam as Juniper's player
Yeah.
consents to it, can we say that Juniper already had some good berry like going into their mouth
They
before
were-
they
That
If
does.
yes,
I
if
have
you-
narrated being an extraordinarily snacky boy.
yeah.
So again, plot points are fun things that you can do that I like to incorporate into games, one shots in particular, that let you do things like plot twist or oh look, a healing potion, or the gods must be crazy, which is literally written in the book. Those kinds of options are available to you to sort of just like, I'll give you an example, and this will click with you really easily. Eliza, when I was back in the day, when I was first playing the Buffy the Vampire Slayer RPG, I spent 6 plot points because I was getting my ass kicked by ninja demons. And I spent 6 plot points to have my watcher show up with a chainsaw, Giles style, and saved the day. Just happened to show up.
Can any of us spend plot points, or does it have to be your
Y'all
turn?
no, it's a party feature. Yeah, it has to be your turn is the only drawback.
Okay.
It has to be your turn, but you can use it to, what a twist, the plot thickens, or oh my god, look at what are the odds. So yes, if you want to spend a plot point, Juniper, you're popping a good bear to heal yourself on your next action. When you hit the ground, your fist, you're like punching yourself in the face, your palm striking yourself in the face as you hit the ground. The good berry pops down to the back of your throat, and you almost cough it out, but you'll be at 1 hit point instead of going down to 0.
Okay. Great.
So put yourself at 1.
Okay.
So that's Eliza spending a plot point for Juniper, basically.
Yeah.
So now you get an action. What would you like to do for your round?
All right. Okay. So gonna healing word myself.
Okay, healing word yourself. Also, for that plot point, thank you, Duran 452.
Thank
go
you so
ahead.
much.
Healing word yourself, I believe it gives you 1d4 plus something.
Oh baby, I'm casting it at 3rd level.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Cast it at 3rd level.
I got back 12 points.
That is a powerful healing word. Okay, so get back 12
Yeah.
hit points.
All right.
All right.
And then
You healed up 12.
that's
so what
my
else you gonna
bonus action.
do? Okay.
Okay, now I'll do the thing I was gonna do.
Okay.
Which was literally Pruitt's sitting and her legs are covered in this gross ichor things. It's on her like pretty clothes. And she looks up and she sees poor Juniper, who's passed out but has a good berry, and just these mimics, and just is like in the middle of a battle. And you see this like rage kind of bubble up within her, and you see spores kind of start to pop off of her. This is just narrative describing. And they turn into light, and they coalesce into a column of light that looks like moon light. She's casting Moonbeam. Now,
Okay.
what's that?
So healing word is a bonus action?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just double check, because there's
Double spell.
standard rule is you can't cast more than 1 spell a turn.
Okay.
So you can do that next round,
Okay.
but you wouldn't be able to cast it this round. You still get your action though. You just wouldn't be able to cast another spell.
Okay. All right.
A cantrip, right?
What's that?
She could cast a cantrip, right?
I think that is the exception.
If it's a yeah.
Although
Yes.
that might be
Yeah,
a
if you
house.
cast
I can't remember.
Yeah, if you cast a level spell, you could cast a cantrip.
Okay.
Levels 1 through 9, you can only do once a turn. You can only do once a turn, but if it's cantrip, I believe you can cast a cantrip spell.
All right. Well then she'll do chill touch instead.
Heal touch.
Chill touch.
Chill touch. Okay. So
Okay.
which one are you doing that on?
Yeah, where are they again? How far are they from each other?
So right now, the closest one to you, there's 2 that are right next to you. There's the one to your left is the one that's chomping and trying to attack Isla and failing utterly.
Okay.
That one's being properly tanked because it cannot get its mouth onto Isla's just dancing
It's
around
just
this
mouth
thing.
is too small.
Yeah.
It's like
However, the one that just chomped down on Juniper is still on Juniper. Even though Juniper got healed up to 1, it is grappled with Juniper right now. So that is a problem. Yeah.
Okay. So definitely that one. The one
Okay.
that's attacking Juniper.
That's the chair mimic that's on Juniper's back that's gnawing away.
Okay.
So you can chill touch that one.
All right.
It doesn't really seem like Pruitt has an abundance of chill at the moment. I'm just
No, definitely not. That was only a 10 though.
But that's a cantrip. You did 10 points of damage with a cantrip chill touch.
No,
Did
10
you
to
cast it?
hit.
No, 10 to hit.
10 to hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to hit.
Just kind of trying to smack it with my skeletal magic hand.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to do it. Yeah, this skeletal magic just kind of fades as it reaches over to it and kind of absorbs into the darkness for whatever reason. You did not see it make contact. That's going to bring us to Bertrand.
True, it actually does that.
Okay, can I discuss the use of a plot point with the others, or do I just have to go ahead and do
you
it?
can do it.
I think you should just freaking do it.
Just
I
do it.
endorse all your actions.
Sam's like, save us.
Okay, you might hate this, but like 2 of us are almost dead, and one of us, and I'm being
It's looking
eaten
rough.
by
Just
a
do it.
bear.
Yeah.
So I would like to spend a plot point, and let's say that those thieves that Isla was talking with back at the bar, they had a powerful magic user of their own who was able to track us despite the fact that Pruitt had cast the Pass Without a Trace. And they charge in right now to join the fight and help us beat the mimics.
Okay, I'm going to add this guy to I'm going to add them to the initiative order, and I'm going to put them at the bottom of the initiative. And they are going to, let me pull up some stats. But yes, you now have, let's see, that's a really good use. Yeah, you basically called in backup. You said, what if
it's not as good as a watcher with a chainsaw, but it's close.
But hey, it's right up his alley.
We don't know what kind of weapons they have.
Or
Okay,
magic.
Chainsaw.
Okay, give me 1 sec as I'm going to pop open the. Okay. A
hex blade with a chain. No.
Okay, I'm going to do this.
I have a character concept for later.
All right, half a moment here while I pull this up. This is a really good use of a plot point. And I will say thank you so much, Breeks, for that plot point.
Breeks, thank you for the chainsaw. Wait,
Thanks for-
allies.
Chainsaw Allies, which is a great band name. Write that one down.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and neither are you, and we both.
No, I'm too busy DMing. Damn it.
Gone forever.
Maybe their thieves guild is called like the Chainsaw Guild or something like that.
Yeah, we represent the Chainsaw Guild. The Chainsaw Guild.
Oh dear.
Chainsaw Guild.
I would be afraid of those munchkins.
See, there you go. Ooh, I hate that term now.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. Pull this up. I need to make sure that it's a proper challenge rating so that it's not too. Okay, cool. Okay. How
The Brick's
many?
Waiting
49.
song.
And then I'm just going to mark that down here, and we will be manual entry. Okay, so that's fine. All right, cool. Yes, indeed.
All right, and now
As y'all are
we-
having this battle, the door that was kind of open on its hinges is, you see it open up, and stepping into the doorway at about this time as everything happened, you all see looks like a halfling step into the door, wide-eyed, big like a mound of hair and fade on each side, tattoos on the side of the neck, does not look like your typical spellcaster, has rings on his fingers, a couple of piercings all up and down his ears at the points, also has like bridges and nose piercings, the whole bit, comes in with just like scroll cases thick on the belt, plodding in with heavy boots, stops and stares and for a long moment at what's going on, and they're going to go in the last round. And what would you like to do, Bertrand, as you see this halfling make an entrance?
I'm just I'm gonna thank what my religion be. Yeah, thank God. And I look at my teammates, and I'm just like, we're not done yet. And I stab the chair with my short sword.
Out of context tweet. Can you imagine? I stabbed the chair with the short sword. Go ahead and make your roll.
Yes.
22 is definitely going to hit. You are which chair were you stabbing? The one that was on you?
The one that's eating me. Yeah.
Okay. Technically, because y'all were all in line, you are still within 5 feet of an ally. You will get backstab damage on this, because you are still fighting somebody who is
Back
within
in the
5 feet of an
chair.
ally. So
Fantastic. All right.
yeah, so go ahead and roll your damage. 7 points.
7.
This is Mimic C.
plus 10. 17 total.
17. That's the first time that chair took damage, and it is really. Oh no, that's the second time the chair took damage. That chair is proper messed up right now. That was a solid hit. Black blood spurts out everywhere as you slam the short sword into the top of it. Instead of seeing wood splinter, you just see skin split, and the sword goes into the top of this aberration. You should pull it right back out. And is that going to be your action for the round?
Yes.
Okay. Then the mysterious wizard that has shown up takes one action to scream, "By Helm's iron ass!" as they see this whole thing playing out in front of them, and is going to can I use that? Of course I can. He's going to cast a spell. As he sees this, goes and immediately raises his hands, finding his voice, and starts casting a spell. Looks like he's going to cast something, and goes, no. And then changes his mind at the last possible second. And the spell. Okay, this is great. So the who's he gonna cast this on? I'm gonna say Pruitt. Actually, you know what? You spent the plot point, Rick. Who would you like the spell to be cast on this first attack?
Who's still being attacked right now other than me?
Juniper.
Juniper is probably in the most danger right now.
Yeah,
I'm in danger.
Save Juniper.
Okay. Okay, 1 sec.
Though for what it's worth, I'm not locked in with them.
Yeah, there's no grapple. Okay. Okay, starts casting spell incantations. Anybody who is sensitive to the workings of the arcane can immediately start feeling it fill up the room as energies begin to coalesce. A powerful spell is being cast. A few moments later, you see he pulls out something small from his pouch and crushes it and scatters it into the air. And as this happens, what is the saving throw on this spell? Does it get one? It's a wisdom save. Let's find out how wise mimics are, shall we? I'm going to cry for you if this mimic saves its wisdom saving throw. I'm rolling.
Roll another nat 20.
Well, here's a test of whether it.
What the DC of that was?
I think you said 15.
Oh no, the DC was 14.
Oh.
Okay, but was it stunted? Would you classify your description as stunting?
Yes.
You know what I would classify as stunting? Your clever attempt to use the stunting rule on my NPC that was brought forth by a plot point.
The tracks.
Yes, I will allow the +1 because that's funny.
Attorney rules.
Okay, so because your DM did such a brilliant job describing a majestic spell casting, just absolutely stunning. I mean, right now, somewhere Mercer is crying in his pillow because he couldn't even measure a third of what you just heard.
Tearing his gorgeous hair out.
Yes, he's literally dabbing his eyes with his hair right now. And as this happens, the halfling casts the spell, and the mimic that's about to chomp down on your face goes, hits the ground next to you, and as you see a toad is just sitting on the ground in front of you, it just blinks for a second. It's about this big. It's just kind
still
of
a mimic though, right?
Yeah, it's a polymorph to mimic, but it is on the ground, just kind of staring up at Juniper, just blinking its eyes in and out and doing nothing. That's going to be that round. That mimic is currently out of combat. Let me make note. Until it hits,
by its cuteness.
Until it is damaged, of course, until it hits 0 hit points. And that's going to be the top of the round. Juniper, there is a confused looking toad staring at you.
So, Juniper is knocked out, and by the magic of peristalsis, the good berry they were snacking on
Mm-hmm.
goes through anyway. And almost reflexively, the motes of light on them all coalesce into a single bolt and shoot out toward one of the mimics.
The one that is probably the most damaged right now is actually the one that's on Bertrand.
I don't mind one that's healthy. I'm going to cast a large boy.
Okay, the one on Isla has not been touched because Isla hasn't had to engage it. It's just been chomping at them and miserably missing this whole time.
I would like to touch it.
You rolled a 13 to hit. That's going to hit it. Yep. Roll damage. 23 points for the guiding bolt. Oh boy.
Y'all know where I aimed it.
Oh boy. Bam! The guiding bolt slams into this chair that's trying to bite you, Isla. You see this scattering of magic. It lights up the room for a brief second as this guiding bolt smashes into it. You hear this noise as it reacts. It kind of bumps into you for a sec. The chair legs stumble backwards as like it's trying to regain. It's comical looking if it wasn't pure terror. That's going to be your action, and you've got your starry form.
And so thereafter, almost as if trying to like compensate for the boy wow,
Uh-huh.
the plink as the arrow shoots out toward it as if trying to knock it over.
Okay.
Aw, dang.
Aw.
But it just goes plink.
Zips through the air.
The die looked cocked on my
Let me just shake my monitor here. I'm sure
I know, right?
Mimic A is quite dead. Mimic B that just got guiding bolted is going to turn towards the spellcaster that just damaged it because it's having a. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna leave this up to the die roll. I'm gonna say DC 10 this, and I'm gonna make an intelligence check for the mimic. I roll a 3. Mimic decides to keep trying to bite Isla instead of going after the spellcaster. It is so dead set. It's just, you know, like you've seen those videos of like the cats that get aggroed by the bird that is trying to get it to fight with another cat. It's again like plunking at it from behind. This mimic just seems to think that the damage that it just took was mysteriously by the creature that it's trying to eat, even though it happened from behind. So it is going to make an attack roll against Isla, and let's see if I finally hit. I roll an 11. That's a hardcore no. You just hear the clomping sounds of great jagged jaws snapping open and close as it's dancing around, like trying to bite at your legs and your feet, but you are easily moving out of the way. That is going to be that's going to be the mimic's action. The next mimic C, which is on Bertrand. And this mimic is going to try to bite Bertrand and continue nomming on Bertrand. 17. I'm going to hit Bertrand.
Oh,
crap.
That's going to be 9 points of piercing and 5 points of acid.
And I'm going to use my reaction again to uncanny dodge.
Okay, so that's going to reduce that by half. So you're going to take 4 points of piercing and 2 points of acid. Oh, I forgot to roll with advantage. That's on me though, because you're grappled right now.
Oh yeah. All right. If you're
not, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so the next mimic, which is also looking pretty healthy. This is Mimic D. This is Mimic D is a toad.
Yeah. So one's dead and one's a toad, right?
Yeah, the toad is going to attempt to bite. I'm not kidding. I am absolutely not kidding.
Petition to rename said mimic Jeremiah. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. It's like, do you mean an ice toad?
Jeremiah wasn't a toad.
Yep, it's a frog. Okay, frog statistics. I am rolling.
Right, but mechanically, it's a
ambitious standing leap. It's gonna. Yeah.
Besides,
okay.
I kind of like the troll of it.
Yeah, sure. He's gonna try to bite you. I'm gonna roll the d20. It gets no bonuses, or no, actually, it gets a minus, I believe. It's a -5 to the attack.
It's not exactly sharp teeth.
minus 5. I roll
Just like gumming at you.
a 10 minus
Oh, shit,
5. Yeah. The frog does what frogs do and leaps towards you and tries to bite your foot. It misses you, just literally leaps right past your foot and slams into the wall and hits the ground, and then kind of pads to the left and looks to see if it can find you again.
Hi, Dazzler.
And that's its action. Pruitt, you're up.
Okay. So there's 2 still actively besides the frog, I mean.
Yes, there's one that's looking quite haggard and bloody right now. There's the one that's been attacking Isla pathetically this entire time, has not been able to get any kind of purchase.
Okay. Since Bertrand is taking damage and grappled,
Yeah.
that's where Pruitt's still sitting on the ground. Maybe she'll stand up now.
Okay, get up. There's a halfling in here now too, by the way.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, somebody else.
Also, I forgot to take my reaction last time, so I'm gonna, or not reaction.
Bonus action.
No, yeah, I did forget to take reaction
Well, I'm sorry.
with the
What did
with the
you-
Halo Sports,
Yeah.
but that's okay. No, I just was reminding myself to do
Sure, yeah, to
next
do it this time.
Yeah. But anyway, so she is going to cast Moonbeam now.
Okay, break out that moonbeam.
This is on the one that's attacking Bertrand.
Okay.
How close is that one to the other one, by the way?
The other one.
I don't
I'd
think it's
say-
going to be.
No, it's not within the same. It's a 5 foot. Yeah, no, it's not going to be close enough.
It's not within 5 feet. Okay.
No, it's not within 5 feet.
That's all right. We can move it later. So casting, yes. So same stunty description that I did before.
Okay.
I'll do it again. Well, we're low on time. I'm not going to do it again. The spores turn into light, and it looks real cool, basically. And it turns into a
Works for me.
of light that just like magically looks like it's piercing through the roof of this building, centered on that dumb little mimic chair. And it has to do a Constitution saving throw of 15.
Okay, so con save 15. That's going to be a tall order for this mimic. This is the one that was attacking Bertrand.
Yes.
Okay, so it needs. Okay, it does have a bonus. I roll a 12 plus its Constitution bonus, which is 2, for a total of 14.
Okay. All right. This little sucker is gonna take 3d10.
Oh boy!
Oh,
Here
Which
comes the
is-
pain train,
19.
which is 19 points of damage. That it
Man.
leaves.
Oh, I
Yes?
haven't wild shaped. That's what I was gonna do. Sorry, that's what I was gonna do before. I will
Okay.
do that because I can deal more damage doing that.
Okay.
But that's as an action. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
Erase.
Erase. Okay,
Yeah.
so, you. This moonbeam explodes out of nowhere, and a searing light of lunar energy crashes into the top of this mimic, and the smell that fills the room as it burns, because it's radiant damage, just frying into the surface of this thing. You see it kind of just kind of bubbles like a gremlin being exposed to sunlight for a second. It's still alive, but it looks like it is on death's door. You can see this is pitted the top of the mimic. You can actually see burned into the bizarre entrails that are currently seared on the inside of the body.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I do still have my bonus action.
Yep.
So I would love to pull out my staff and shillelagh, which is what I call it, as Kira knows. I'm gonna shillelagh that same mimic.
All right, make your roll. Make an attack roll using shillelagh.
21.
21. Is that a nat 20? No, it's a 14
No.
plus 7 because you're using your
Yeah.
wisdom modifier. So roll damage. That definitely hits.
8
Splat.
damage.
That's a dead mimic.
Yes.
Yep. You smash it from laying on the ground unconscious and making a death save to killing one of these things. You bring that shillelagh down and it dies. Makes a
These things are
splattering
like gross.
next is Bertrand. This thing's
so
all over you.
there's just the one left, or
There is a frog that is attempting to enact violence upon the foot of Juniper, and then there is one left that is desperately trying to bite and destroy Isla.
Don't touch the frog. It's going to be my friend. It doesn't know it yet.
got it. Understood.
For
All
1
right,
hour anyway. Then it becomes, I want to eat you again.
You know, there are plenty of pets that druids have that start out wanting to eat the druid, and then they end up being friends.
What are you gonna do, Bertrand?
I'm gonna draw a bow, draw an arrow, and use my short bow to shoot the one that is attacking Isla.
Okay, do it. You're gonna get your
Ooh.
sneak attack damage. Oh no, you have 2 fellowship points left.
What do we think, folks?
Oh wait,
Should
no,
I
no,
use
no! You have advantage. You have advantage. You have advantage. You have advantage.
my
What?
advantage?
Guiding bolt.
Oh, that's right. It got guiding bolted. You have advantage on the attack roll. That is a 19 to hit. Plus 6, 25. That hits. Roll your damage.
That'll do.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
All right, so
5
5.
points. Roll your
Sneak attack.
Yeah, roll your sneak attack damage. Kill these mimics, y'all. 15 points of damage on that sneak attack. You rolled a 4, 5, and a 6. 20 points of damage on that mimic. Now we're talking. Holy hell.
I winged it.
The arrow slams into the body of the mimic, softened up from that guiding bolt. It buries itself all the way up to the fletching. You just see it disappear into the body as the mimic twitches and screeches out loud. And that's going to be your action. That is going to take us back to our halfling spellcaster, who is now.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Yeah, what's up?
Would that my turn happen yet? I don't think I went.
Oh,
yet.
no. I think you got skipped. Yeah. Why don't we do? Yeah. For some reason, the initiative order skipped you. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, you would have gone before Bertrand. Go ahead and go.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. So in that case, they're going to slide back, run forward, and for my wrestling fans out there, perform what's called a Superman punch, or right to the right to the yep,
Superman
right
punch this thing.
All right,
All right.
and I'm going to go ahead with my favorite foe. If I can.
And for the audience who's wondering what the heck is going on, yes, Kira is playing a monk multi-class.
Monk
So,
Ranger.
Monk Ranger.
Ranger with some monk in the trunk.
That would be 17 plus.
17
That's
hits.
definitely, yeah. All right.
Definitely hits.
And so of course, it adds extra D4. Oh, nice. A 6 plus. So that'd be 11 points of damage for that hit.
Oof. Okay.
And then after I Superman punch, Icer leaps forward and it just noms right on the creature as well. We'll go ahead and roll for Ice here. That rolled on a nat 20 and then rolled on an 8. So that is going to be a 8 plus 6, 14. Will 14 hit?
That definitely hits. What kind of damage is that?
All right, so that's 1d8 plus 2. Oh, that's 7 plus 12 points of damage from Ice.
That is a dead mimic.
Ice here coming through.
You just leap up and punch this thing in the direction of Doggo. Doggo leaps forward and grabs it as this mimic is stumbling back. These chair legs, like the dog leaps forward, grabs it, and just starts viciously thrashing it. And the chair literally just goes, kind of becomes this blob being shaken back and forth. With that, black ichor sputtering across the walls. All you hear is the croaking of a frog in the room and a growling dog as things finally calm down.
Well, how's everyone feeling?
That was a hoot.
Been better, but okay.
You glance down, Juniper, and there's a frog that's just it's got its mouth around your foot, like your like the tip of your boot, and it's just kind of its eyes are closed and it's kind of twisting left and right.
You're so ferocious.
Can I see her eat it?
It's doing this like the frog thing where it's not.
No, it'll defrog and then it'll poof in Icer's stomach. It's bad for it. There's plenty of acid in the stomach already.
What are you gonna do with it?
Can I make a suggestion?
Hi. Yeah, who are you?
Hi. Yeah. There's a lot to. All right. I'll answer your question first, and then I'll tell you why I want the frog. But I just want to guarantee that you're not going to draw weapons when I tell you why I'm here. Because if you're going to draw weapons, I'm just going to leave.
I'm too
We owe you
tired.
one.
What's that?
Yeah, we owe you.
Yeah.
No, we owe you one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
No. So yeah, use that as evidence, right? Because Guild I'm working for wanted me to come and kill you guys. But the reason why that did not happen just now, and the reason why I'm confessing all of this instead of playing the angle and trying to do that, because you're clearly all in a weakened state, and it's possible that if I wanted to, I could probably make life difficult, but I wouldn't do that. I'm not trying to threaten anyone right now. I'm just saying this is further evidence that I'm not trying to be bad. Okay? So now that I've all said that, I was actually coming to talk to you all about the fact that I noticed you were trying to recruit tonight, and I don't like the people I'm working with because they often ask me to kill people, and that's not what I like to do. I'm much more of take from people kind of thing, just not take lives.
Take frogs.
Yeah, frogs, because it's a mimic. In a mimic, I could put that in a jar, and I could do something really naughty with it. Because it's only going to last an hour. Once that's not a mimic anymore, it becomes a big problem. There's a few people I think I could like to give that to.
Oh, okay.
If that's all right. I mean, if you want to keep it for yourself, that's fine too. But
Can I watch?
Oh yeah, do you want to watch? Oh, I was going to do it this morning. Sunrise. There's somebody who gets their milk off their stoop every morning, and it's going to put a frog mimic in. Oh shit! But it only lasts an hour. I'll have to put it down the chimney or something then.
Can you give us just a moment?
Yeah, no problem.
What is your name?
Barley. Barley
Nice to meet
Bimbottle.
you.
Nice to meet you. I'm a bit of a spellcaster, if you might not have noticed.
So they take the group and do like a little huddle.
You guys
thing
huddle?
and-
Pull your Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
moment as everyone just kind of comes together, kind of like.
Well, Triple B over here.
Well, did save our lives, and recruiting him might be better than antagonizing him and having him kill us. What does everyone think?
Spellcaster with an edible plant for a name. I don't mind
Mine
having another
go-
one.
The more we can pillage from other guilds, the better. I'm down with that.
Yeah, and I do agree with the Barley person that not killing us when they were sent to kill us and actually saving us from mimics. It's a good move.
Just got to work on his pizzazz a bit.
His delivery.
Oh, and make sure he
yeah.
doesn't betray us because he betrayed them by switching to our side. And it's like that thing where if someone cheats to be with you, they're going to cheat once they're with you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
You're not going to cheat on us, right?
What's that?
Cheat on
Like-
us. You're not gonna, right?
I mean, look. To be honest, if I was going to, I probably wouldn't tell you.
What made you? You said you didn't like your previous guild because they sent you to do things that you didn't want to do. So if we just don't do that, you won't betray us.
Sounds like we're having a conversation here, so I'm just going to close the door. And he steps in and just closes the door behind him and looks out the window for a second. Yeah. So, yeah. If you're all right having me along, the other people I was with, they kind of like to kill people, and I'm not really into that. Like, I don't mind causing mischief, but I'm not an assassin. I never wanted to be.
Okay,
So-
so it was a bad fit.
Very bad fit. Very bad fit.
What if we do like a 3 months probation? Either side can sever things, no harm, no foul. Well,
Yeah.
one foul. I point to Bertrand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that works for me. Probably smart too, because you need to find out a little bit more about me. I just showed up here. I was supposed to kill you, but now I'm saving you, so makes sense. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. They
Did
do
you-
know I'm
did you
here,
co-
though.
Did you come from the same group of individuals that I talked to earlier at the tavern?
Was it did you have a card game with anybody tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the boss. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. They saw you with a ring and wanted me to follow you. So here I am.
This is the same. So he went back on his word. That is good to know. We will have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You can't trust anyone these days.
Yeah, it's rough.
Aether agrees.
Yeah.
Well, provisionally speaking, welcome to the Lunar Pockets.
The Thieves Guild?
Yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah.
y'all were still around.
Oh, we're still around.
Great. I thought you were just a bunch of, nobodies that were robbing a place. I'm glad you're not. I mean, I think you're special. Obviously, you fought off mimics. So go you. But I just thought, I didn't know I was joining a guild. This is great.
Guilty as
Provision.
charged.
So what we doing? Are we robbing this place now that we've killed almost all of the Oh, can I just go ahead? I'll forget it if I don't get it now. Can I get the frog?
Yeah, it still attack. It just
Yeah.
wants to really. It just really.
Yeah, it kind of
attached.
puts up a resistance as the halfling moves over. Barley just reaches down and picks up the frog and says, "I'll just put it in there."
Yeah.
Sticks it
no,
in a pouch.
Yeah.
I
uh-huh.
say
Closes
we
it
go
up.
through this house and we steal anything that isn't nailed down or a mimic.
Right. On that note, what's with this? And he points at this cavern that leads down into the darkness.
I'm gonna need a few more snacks.
Yeah. After we rest up, that's our next objective.
Right. Okay. Well, he looks outside and says, "We've still got about 8 hours till sunrise, so I suppose we could rest here if you want."
And then you can join us, like, provisionally.
Sure. They do know that I'm here, so when I don't go back, they might take issue. But
They might.
And the beauty of that is that we would know they're coming.
it's true. Yeah. No, I like this.
Snack. I hold out a good berry.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Takes it. And the rest of this hour is filled up with him regaling you with a few things that happened to him in his life. About 45 minutes into the rest, though, he excuses himself and leaves the house and returns about 15 minutes later. Juniper, I'm going to assume you went with him. He went to a house about 3 blocks from here and pulled a frog out. And then removed what looked like a set of lockpicks and pushed open a window and pushed the frog in and closed the window and made his way back to all of you. When he arrives, you all are rested. And as everyone is gathering their things and picking up their belongings and recovering, you get your short rest bonuses and whatnot. Each of you packing up your things, you suddenly start hearing this whining sound coming from your dog as the dog moves to the edge of the darkness and starts whining and looking inside. It doesn't seem like an anxiety. It doesn't seem like a fear, but instead it seems like an agitation, like it wants to go, but you're not letting him go. So it's just kind of looking at you and whining.
We can lay down soon. Don't you worry. Is everyone? Are y'all rested, or you need a few more minutes to rest up?
Let's do this.
Yeah, I've got some potions. Be good. It seems like y'all might need them more than me. Ready to do it.
All right, Aether. Guess we'll be able to see what's further down there.
What in it?
Ready? Right.
And one by one, members of the Lunar Pockets descend into the darkness. One by one, you're each swallowed up by that blanket of night, descending deeper under the house that will take you under water deep, presumably to the Underdark. But then again, who knows what portal you may have just stepped through. That is where we are going to bring a close to this one-shot that is never, ever going to be a one-shot. We knew the moment these characters got made, we knew this was not going to be a one-shot. We knew it wasn't. There's just added the dangers of one-shots are that there is no such thing as a one-shot with the Streampunks. It's just not. We need to get better at picking up our one-shots instead of making new one-shots. But here we are. So
we have one shot at home.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. As soon as we wrap up here, I'm gonna go ahead and give you all some. I'll give you all some like. I don't think I'm gonna do it by the XP system. I think I just really like the milestone system when it comes to leveling up. I think it was a right cool call for D&D to do that. So, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be some rewards for the battle. And there are things laying about the house that might be worth pickpocketing. So I'll get to you all about that. But do keep these characters and do keep in mind that we are going to be coming back to this. You guys, everybody who is watching tonight, thank you so much. Streampunks do not often get the chance to indulge ourselves in a Dungeons and Dragons game. We're usually off somewhere else in the multiverse, either being pirates or vampires, or in the case of my game over at Beacon, unwitting first responders on the edge of a dark universe, possibly confronting horrors that were created by originally Ridley C. Scott and H.R. Giger. And we'll get back to that soon enough. That'll be on the 21st. We'll be back. So Beacon will return then. We are off next Monday. So you might look for Streampunks hanging around and doing other things Monday night. Otherwise, we will catch you next time. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay whimsical. And also, don't forget to eat your vegetables.
Mm-hmm. And drink water.
Drink water. Make sure to get
oh
lots
my
of
gosh,
rest.
Juniper get good berries. I didn't even put that together. By the way, Jake, just so you know, you're muted. So if you told us we're queer,
we're not clear. He hasn't told us. We're still live.
Okay, cool, good.
And vegetables and what else is good to eat? Let's vamp this out.
Good.
Thank you guys. Thank you everybody who's watching us vamp. Because
Pruitt would say mushrooms.
And vote. Yes, thank you, Dark of
Yes,
Nate.
vote. Oh my gosh,
vote.
freaking vote.
Yes.
Go vote.
For the love of God.
Go
Please
vote. Please go vote.
Take
very
5
important.
people with you, you know.
Yes. Take 5 folks with you and go vote. Real quick.
Unless you're not here, in which case we're so sorry. But like if you vote.
Hey, real quick though, but since I still have you guys, what was your favorite moment for tonight's game, from tonight's one shot? Because I have trouble picking.
Pretty much everything Isla did.
I mean, let's just stop for a second and acknowledge how adorable the fan art would be of watching Bertrand in their cloak just moving underneath the table and pickpocketing people. Just a little owl and just pickpocketing
at
people
eye level, and then the table is over and
with the cloak, which is probably covers them and trails on the floor too.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, with the
100%.
sleeves over the ends of the hands.
Yeah, little bitty tiny owlin just doing the thing. Just doing the thing.
What a good choice for them to be small.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if he was a Lucasfilm creature, he would definitely there'd be little dolls and the Funkos. And, massive merchandising potential. Yeah.
Yep.
You still do. You know what?
Teespring it. We got to Teespring it.
Yeah. I'm hoping we get to play this game again. I would really like to revisit it. We were fortunate enough to play a one shot of Starjam, and we were able to come back and do that again and wrap that up. We turned that into a 3-shot. But Sam and I, actually, full disclosure, Sam and I have been talking a long time because we got to play a little bit of these of the concept of a broken thieves guild trying to pull things back together again. This is like the street level of like the Thieves Guild trying to make it a huge adventure out of just living on the streets of Waterdeep, which in itself is a whole thing. Normally, I'm a little reticent to activate adventures on the Sword Coast because for anybody who is watching and who has played D&D 5e, you will note that 5e leans hard into the Sword Coast. It makes the entire setting about Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, Sword Coast, and the North. I'm a big fan of to the east and like Cormyr and all the other countries. But having said that, Waterdeep, you can do an entire adventure Daredevil style and in Waterdeep, and it would be a great session
I
adventure.
love
So
small world.
yeah,
It's just small worlds and give more consequence to actions. Though Rick Budd knows that like playing in a big city and doing street level stuff. Oh,
yeah. Can I just point out? That I'm not surprised that it was Rick Budd who spent the plot point and came up with the this guy shows up and helps us out and was following us this whole time. I was like, oh my god, power play flashbacks right now.
Payoff to some setup. He should be some kind of writer or something.
Yeah, you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Maybe you should consider doing that.
Is there any money in it? Or?
Writing? God no. Unless you're Jody Hauser.
Almost as much as professional tabletop role playing.
God yes.
And everyone took psychic damage at the end.
Everyone took actually Doctor Who. It's worth pointing out that the Doctor Who RPG 5th edition has introduced emotional damage. So, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow imics, yep.
Hear it in my head.
Emotional damage.
Thank you. Also, thank you again, Kira, for joining us. This is not the first time that Kira's been involved in Streampunks stuff, but this is the first time it's been in front of the paywall so that all of the people might enjoy. It's me. I'm the people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to be able to play.
Yeah, it'd be an absolute pleasure being here. And I think about an hour and a half in, I was just like, oh no, this doesn't need to be a one shot. This needs to extend, please, pretty please. So I understand exactly where this came from. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, it was good to do. It was good to do.
If you like Kira 858, but by the way, you should follow on the social medias. Keep your eyes peeled. No, don't do that. That sounds ophthalmologically
like this.
But just you might be seeing Streampunks involved in projects.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Follow the Cookout TTRPG on Twitter.
Yeah.
Any other plugs?
Oh God, Twitter. Other places too.
Other places, yeah.
Other places too.
Mastodon, baby. Who knows?
God, yeah.
And follow Arbed913 on Twitter until Arbed913 tweets that you should follow him somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can actually. I'm Rick Budd on Mastodon Social now. So.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people who's coming over to Mastodon,
I created a Mastodon something. Eliza Pro
Mastodon
and Mastodon something. I don't know, y'all. I haven't
looking for you.
taken time to figure it
sign
out.
up for Matrix. I'm done with this.
Matrix, that's one too.
Yeah, it's a great federated protocol that I can nerd out on at some other point that bridges to all other networks so that you can use Mastodon from Matrix. Basically, I never want to migrate like this again, and so there we are.
Right.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered something I can plug. When we're dark next Monday, I'm going to be guesting on Fear HQ's oh my God, Slasher Town. I was like, Slayerville? Slasher Town. I'm bringing back my character who is one of the characters' mom who's running for mayor, and I think we're going to find out if I become mayor.
All right. Well, that's good, and we got enough time in for the plug. I think we're gonna wrap it up if you guys are cool, and we can close this out. But I just wanted to, before we do though, just real quick, thanks for hanging with us tonight. Thanks for hanging with the after show and for tuning in for our one shot. Streampunks will see you again. On the 21st, we'll be back for the second part of Beacon. So look for us then. Thank you all so much. We will catch you next time, and have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.